Saturday on 19th Street. The woman accused of doing the stabbing, who had to be chased down by police once they got to the scene, was in court Tuesday and pleaded not guilty. Jada Renee's bail was set at $55,000, and she is due back in court next month. Police say the suspect and victim were arguing inside the bar, and the fight and stabbing happened on the street outside the bar. And you may remember another stabbing that happened Sunday on Thatch Avenue, where 31-year-old Anthony Badeau died and a woman named Cecily Diaz was arrested. Diaz's mother tells Bakersfield Now that the stabbing, according to her daughter, was in self-defense, and that Badeau had a long criminal history with charges of assault and even rape, and that Badeau had been abusing her daughter. There may have been as many as 5 victims, says a complaint against Tehachapi Unified District teacher 42-year-old Timothy Seaman, who was arrested a couple of months ago, accused of molesting a 9-year-old student at Tompkins Elementary. Seaman is also accused of possession of child pornography. If you're watching the gas prices, it's now $4.47 for a gallon of regular on average in California, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing for those subscribing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Wednesday, 11th day of February. Chris Burdick is producing the broadcast on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Folks out at Bakersfield Country Club are happy to see the sunshine as the first round of the BC Open got underway this morning, and is still going on. Coming up later in the broadcast, we're going to talk with one of the Bakersfield Country Club professionals, Jared Kaneshita, local boy and overall good egg. He threw up a 65 this morning. He's one shot off the lead. We'll talk to Jared at the 5 o'clock hour. In the meantime, there's new information, obviously, on Savannah Guthrie and the plight of her mother, Nancy. We'll get into that. New details on a 42-year-old teacher in the Tehachapi Unified School District who was accused of child sexual, lewd, and lascivious acts with children under the age of 14. We'll unpack that for you. It's a Wednesday, so Howard Marcus will be here at 4 o'clock. We will talk about the Guthrie situation and get Howard's thoughts on how the Pima County Sheriff deputies are handling this, how the FBI is handling this. As most of you know, it's our lead today. They detained the suspect and have now let him go. It doesn't appear that he is involved in this. We'll get Howard's thoughts on how this thing is handled, because as you know, I think that the Pima County Sheriff's Department has bungled this thing from the get-go, not calling in the FBI immediately. It was 48 hours before they called in the federal government, and not putting up police tape around Nancy Guthrie's home for 2 days, allowing the media to tramp around and ruin possible DNA evidence. And then they did the same damn thing at Annie Guthrie's house, where apparently they investigated that as a crime scene, and then they've opened it up to the point where literally, you may have seen this video, a pizza delivery man showed up and went to the front door of Annie Guthrie's home. Like, what? Then don't call it a crime scene. Well, now the FBI has stepped in and put yellow tape around the home, and turns out it was a TV crew on the street that called the pizza guy. It's just crazy stuff, what's going on. We'll talk to Howard about that. And you're not going to like my segment on Pam Bondi. She testified before a congressional committee today, the Judiciary Committee, and just made a joke out of it. And it was just difficult to watch. And I don't care who you support for president. This is about the victims. This isn't a Republican issue. This isn't a Democratic issue. Both sides have been egregiously wrong on this. You can go back 4 administrations as to why they didn't investigate this. You can go back to 2008 when Epstein got the sweetheart deal down in Florida. And you go through Obama, Biden, Bush, and now the Trump administration just handling this like they're all covering up for these rich men. This idea that there were 100 victims and Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein were the only 2 involved in pedophilia is absurd. It's just not a reasonable thought. And Pam Bondi basically went up there today and had a binder of information on each member of the panel, each Democratic member of the panel, and didn't answer any question. Like, ask me a question, Chris. Ask me any question about my life.
Ralph, where did you go to high school?
Well, Chris, you went to Garces and got a 2.5 grade point average, and you were suspended for 3 days. So I don't know why you're asking me. I mean, she literally didn't answer a question. And you could see her while the panel member is forming the question. She, like a Corinne Jean-Pierre, is going through her notebook of notes on that person. And then when it's time for her to answer the question, she sits there and, yeah, Chris, well, you got a 2.5 and you got suspended for 3 days. And she's just reading it. Just tearing apart the Democrat. That part I didn't like so much, particularly that much I didn't dislike so much, particularly when she went after Jasmine Crockett. but that's a side point. I mean, I shouldn't be funny because, again, this is about victims of pedophilia. And I'll get to it when we get there. The worst part was the victims were there and she wouldn't apologize to them and she hasn't spoken to them. I think that was one of the most poignant moments of the whole panel. And you can say that I'm liberal and I'm siding with the Democrats. Well, every now and again, you got to side with somebody about this. This is not a partisan issue. This is not a Republican issue. This is not a Democratic issue. It's about those 12 women that were standing in the back of that room in Washington, D.C., and they were asked to stand and were asked, has anyone from the Department of Justice reached out to you? Raise your hand if they have. No one raised their hand. And they were asked, have you reached out to the Department of Justice to try to provide them some information? And they all raised their hand. Wait till you hear this audio where she's just going back and forth with Chairman Raskin and Congressman Ross, and it's stupid. It's just absolutely stupid. We'll get into that at some point. Then in the 5 o'clock hour, Dr. Stephen Blumberg is joining us. We talked about the article in yesterday's Los Angeles Times. It's an old argument, the CSUs trying to use this 1960 master's educational plan in 2025. And the plan basically says that the UCs, in essence, the UCs will handle graduate work, the CSUs will handle the 4-year degrees, and the community college, the 116 of them here in the state of California, will act as stepping stones to the CSUs. Well, there are 116 community colleges. What are there, Chris? 23, 24 CSUs? So
Yeah.
you can bring the education to the students more readily with a community college, as the current community college district has done out in Porterville and Saracosa, and the small little mini colleges that they're setting up. They're setting one up in Tehachapi. We talked with Dr. Stacy Pfluger about that last week. They've got campuses all over, and they can reach out to these people, and it just makes more sense. They've got programs where you can graduate high school and be halfway done with your college education. And yet, as my pop used to say, 8 out of 10 questions could be answered with money, because it seems to me, and maybe Dr. Bloomberg can explain further, but it seems to me that it's all about money, that it's about charter schools and public schools. The same reason public schools are fighting charter schools, because they're taking students away from them. Thus, or hence, one of the two, thus taking money away from the Inglewood Unified School District, or the LA Unified School District, or the Bakersfield Unified School District, for that matter, whatever. That's the fight. And it's the same fight with the CSUs and the community colleges. And I'm telling you, the community colleges are going to win. This is a new form of education. This is a great way to take the education to the students. And we'll also talk to the chancellor about BC becoming one of a dozen of the 116 community colleges designated as a Black Serving Institute. What does that mean? Well, hang on. 5:05, Dr. Stephen Blueberg will join us. And then at 5:30, we're going to talk with our good friend Jared Kaneshita. Like I said, did I say this already? Or did I've told like
I think you mentioned a little bit.
Did Jared threw up a 65 today? He's one stroke off the lead. We'll talk with him at 5:30. Really excited for the young man. He's a really good kid. Other locals, Manav Shah is in the house. He shot a 67. He's 4 under, 3 shots off the lead. He's a 2-time champ. Last time I checked, I'll check during the break again, but Bhavik Patel, another 2-time champion, another local boy, he was at even. He's had a crazy round. He went like bogey, birdie, bogey, bogey, birdie, birdie, bogey, birdie, and shot an even 36 on the front. He's headed toward the back. And John Ballfans, who I'm pretty sure is in his 50s, isn't he? Coach Kessler, are you out there? Coach Kessler's been sending me scores all morning. He's under par. He's like 2 or 3 under par, which is, given that course, the way it's laid out, is remarkable. It really, really is. Although the players got some love last night. I woke up, I fell asleep at like 9 o'clock and woke up and heard the pounding on my trees outside my window and was like, damn, because that changes the tournament. I mean, we thought 7, 8, 9 might win, and the leader, a kid from not this area, I forget his name, Carlos something, he shot a 7 under 64, and as I said, Jared Kaneshita shot a 65, and that rain softened up those greens a little bit, and the guys can kind of target shoot a little bit better. But tomorrow, when they make the cut, it'll be a whole lot different because they're going to double roll the greens tonight. The rain is gone. They'll double roll them again in the morning, and they'll be a whole lot different. And then on Friday, they will be slick as hell. They'll probably get them up to a stimp minute about 13 by Friday, despite last night's rain. Let's go ahead and take our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll get you updated on the Nancy Guthrie situation. And a glove was found late this afternoon. That's all that Fox reported. Nobody else was reporting on that, but I'll try to nail that down before we come back. And we'll get into the horrendous job done by the Tehachapi Unified School District. It's not just that they had a teacher who was committing lewd and lascivious acts with kids, but the fact that they were passing him around to different elementary schools, despite, according to KGT, some 6 different complaints by parents. Doesn't this remind you of something? Just moving somebody from place to place, not really addressing it, but moving him from one elementary school to another. Went to 3 different elementary schools in the Tehachapi Unified School District, following complaints by parents that he's hugging on kids and kissing kids on the neck. They finally investigate the kid, he's a 42-year-old man, and they find on his computer, guess what? Kiddie porn, etc., etc. Thank you, Tehachapi Unified School District, for looking out for your children. Nice job, he said, ridiculously sarcastically. We are just getting started on this Wednesday. It's the Ralph Bailey Show, right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Coming up on the Thursday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, diving
what
into
time is
all of the
everything
latest
today?
with the Trump economy. Some good numbers yesterday, but now is when we look at the policies for the months ahead, going into the midterms. How are we going to bring down prices? How is he going to keep those job numbers looking fantastic? Plus, education. Secretary. Let's see. Casey is at 345. Adaptive 415, Big Mike 445, Messmaker 515.
5:15?
515.
Thank you. been wanting, like a 2025 Forester Sport CVT. Lease one now for only $219 a month for 36 months and just $5,700 due at signing. And remember, every Subaru always comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. And don't forget, this offer ends March 31st. So stop by and see my good friends Damon Culbertson, Hassan Levy, and all the guys during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Pick out your new Subaru for spring and hit the open road. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community. 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Bakersville Auto Mall, 24/7 at sangerasubaru.com.
Through March 31st, 2026, lease a 2025 Forester Sport CVT for $219 a month on a 36-month lease. $0 due at lease signing plus tax and license. 7,500 mile year limit. 15 cent per mile overage. MSRP $40,814. VIN number SH617136. Monocode SFF-24.
Crime is already skyrocketing in 2026. You may already own a firearm, but before you face the financial, legal, and emotional weight of pulling the trigger, there's a smarter option. Byrna. That's BYRNA. Byrna makes less lethal launchers that fire tear gas and kinetic rounds designed to stop an attacker for up to 40 minutes, giving you time to escape and call for help without deadly consequences. Their best-selling compact launcher is sleek, slim, and incredibly powerful. About the size of a smartphone, it's ideal for concealed carry, comfortable, discreet, and confidence building. It fires at 400 feet per second with serious stopping power, enough to shut down a threat fast without the legal and moral complexity of lethal force. Byrna is proudly American. Over 85% of components are U.S. sourced, and every launcher is hand-assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. With over 750,000 sold worldwide, Byrna is best in class, and it's legal in all 50 states. No background checks, shipped straight to your door. Visit Byrna.com today and find the right launcher for your family. That's BYRNA.com.
Are the rising waters of expenses and debt threatening to drown you? Many people try to stay afloat by borrowing more money or using debt settlement programs, but those can take years. If you're trapped under credit card debt, medical bills, payday loans, or buy now, pay later plans, Chapter 7 bankruptcy could free you much sooner, in about 4 months and for a fraction of the cost. Stop the harassing calls and letters. Rebuild your credit quickly and clear the way for a fresh start. At Clean Slate BK Group, consumer Chapter 7 bankruptcies are all we do. We can help you erase credit card debt, medical bills, personal loans, even past due utility bills. Find out if you qualify at no cost and with no obligation. Go to csbk.com. This is an attorney advertisement. Your results may vary, and prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. Clean Slate BK Group PC, located at 7 Penn Plaza, Suite 601, New York, 10001, is responsible for the content of this ad. For more information, visit csbk.com. That's csbk.com. Your clean slate starts here.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at
Paul Guerra, our good friend and president of BCC, got a late entry. He's technically a professional. He's a pro at BCC before he became part of management, president of the club. Got called in late. The bad news is Chris Riley, who we spoke with earlier or late last week, the 52-year-old outlier trying to get back on the Champions Tour. He was a young pro who competed with Tiger Woods and John Daly and Phil Mickelson. He was on a Ryder Cup team with Tiger Woods in 2004. He was on a Walker team, a President's Cup team. He's a veteran player. Won the PGA Tour vet and quit to go coach down at San Diego State with the Aztecs, and is now trying to get back on the Champions Tour. I'm trying to get him a sponsor's exemption for Nick Ragone's tournament out in Philadelphia that I'll be attending in September. But unfortunately, he came out here. He played in the Pro-Am. He played in a practice round yesterday. But I think the word around the course was that it was a family emergency and he had to withdraw. And Paul filled in the spot. And the bad news is he's struggling a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm looking at the sheet right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit. He's struggling. But I bet he's having the time of his life.
That's all he needs to do.
Because his father, who went on the most recent honor flight, his dad's a veteran, is on his bag. So it's him and his dad out there playing. And he wasn't expecting to play. If he had of, I saw him on Sunday out there playing. He would have been hitting balls as opposed to playing. He'd have been hitting balls Saturday, Sunday. He wouldn't have screwed around on the tour, on the tournament Monday. He'd have been hitting balls again. But I'm sure he's having a lot of fun. We'll talk with him, I'm sure. But we're going to talk with Jared Kaneshita, who shot a 65 and is the leading local voice. One shot off the lead. Carlos Pereira from, I think, Cameron Park is on the leaderboard at 7 under par. Meantime, as I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, know by now, the FBI has detained a man by the name of Carlos Palazuelos, I believe his name is. And he's a delivery truck driver. So everyone's assumption, I immediately thought this, I heard some pundits say it as well, that he probably delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's home because they literally, according to him, didn't ask him any questions. They asked him about his name, his social, et cetera, et cetera. They probed his home, got a warrant, looked through his home, looked through his car, boop, 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 and let him go. Here is some audio from a pretty shaken up Carlos Palazuelos.
So sorry to bother you, man. What's your first and last name so we get it right? Carlos Palazuelos. Okay, and you were apprehended for questioning. How would you describe what happened to you?
Terrifying. Something I didn't do for something. I was being I felt like I was being kidnapped, bro, because they didn't tell me anything at the beginning.
And investigators showed up to this house, or were you the one who was pulled over in the traffic stop?
I was the one that was pulled over at the traffic stop.
Where was that?
Right here on by Chubasco.
Okay, and you were taken into custody at that point?
Yeah.
And you were
I was being detained.
Detained, okay.
I was detained the whole time.
Okay, where?
They told me.
Where were they
In
holding
the
you?
back of a car.
Back
At
of
the
a car.
Marana car, and then they moved me into a Pima County Sheriff.
Were you being questioned in the car?
At the Marana car, I was being questioned, but they only asked me for my first name, my last name, my date of birth, and my social.
Okay. What were they asking you about?
Where my whereabouts.
Okay.
Where was I and all that. But
Are you ever up in Tucson?
yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay, do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know, might have been a possibility. I don't know.
Yeah, do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So do you think you may have, did they indicate that you might have been on her property? You're not sure.
Nah, they just came up. They until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
Okay. Jeez. How do you think they connected that case to
I'll
you?
go ask them, bro.
Okay. So
That's something you gotta ask them. I can't answer that question.
did they take anything from your house tonight?
Nah, I don't know. All I can say is they took my phone.
Took your phone.
Right.
You don't have your phone right
No.
now. Okay.
That's enough.
What else?
That's enough. That's frightening because you know what that means. FBI, Pima County officials, not a clue. Not a clue. If they thought this was the guy, in the mask, they don't have a clue. Not a clue. That picture hasn't helped at all. And the crazy thing is, and they will, don't get me wrong. Oh, they'll find that guy. I don't know if they're, because again, it's hard to say this out loud, but I don't think Nancy Guthrie's alive. I just don't. I don't think an 84-year-old woman can stand almost 2 weeks off of her meds. Her blood pressure, just being in this situation at 84 years old, whether she has high blood pressure or not, just to be 84 years old and being held captive, to be woken up by a man in a ski mask and gloves and a gun is enough to send your blood pressure out the roof. It's enough to give you a stroke at 84 years of age. And the idea that they don't have a clue at this point, and that's one of the reasons that the Guthries have hired a private detective. They're bringing in Colombo and Barnaby Jones. They're not trusting the Pima County officials or the FBI. I don't blame them. They have, I think, both botched this thing completely. I don't understand why it took so long to get this surveillance video, but somebody knows who that man is. Somebody knows that walk. Somebody knows those gloves. Somebody, because you couldn't You couldn't act normally when you're on the run like that. You just couldn't. If I came in here acting screwy and there was like a big crime near my neighborhood, Chris, would you rat me out?
Nah.
What's wrong with you? Of course you'd rat me out.
Nah.
You gotta rat him out.
I lived on the east side, man. You didn't see nothing, you don't say nothing.
No, I know snitches get stitches, but no, of course you gotta rat him out. See, you're part of the problem.
Yeah. Morally, absolutely.
I'd rat your ass out. He's been acting screwy. He doesn't do any audio for me anymore. He's missing time cues. I'm telling you, you can come talk to this kid. I'd rat your ass out so quick it'd make my head spin. Shoot. Somebody knows this guy, and he's going down soon. He really is. We head into the back half of the hour. We will talk about Timothy Seaman. No joke intended. Isn't that crazy? Being shuffled around by the Tehachapi Unified School District despite complaints from parents that he was doing something appropriate with their children.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News,
Yeah,
I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Attorney General Pam Bondi took heated questions from lawmakers in a combative congressional hearing over the Justice Department's handling of files related to Jeffrey Epstein that have exposed sensitive private information about victims despite redaction efforts. The Attorney General gave a wide-ranging, passionate defense of President Trump and mocked her Democratic questioners. House Republicans are rushing ahead with the SAVE Act legislation that would impose voter ID requirements ahead of the midterm elections. The bill coming to a vote on Wednesday is a Trump administration priority aimed at scrutinizing ballot access. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 66 points, the NASDAQ dropped 36, the S&P down a fraction. More details at SRNnews.com.
That's weird.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. The wind may be invisible, but definitely holds a lot of power when blowing at 50 miles per hour, which is what happened Tuesday afternoon. It brought down at least one tree on a porch and the porch furniture, and on Truxton Avenue had people swerving to avoid the tumbleweeds blowing across the road. The mother of Cecily Diaz, arrested and charged in the Sunday killing of Anthony Badeau on Thatch Avenue, tells Bakersfield now it was all self-defense and that Badeau had been abusing her daughter and has an extensive violent criminal history. In another stabbing that happened outside a bar early Saturday on 19th Street, Jada Renee has pleaded not guilty. Police say they caught her running away with a knife in her hand. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The Crossroads of the West Gun Show is coming this weekend to the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield.
We're finding everything we're looking for, so we're impressed. Awesome selection. Awesome, yeah, just a lot more than I expected to see.
It's America's premier gun show with great deals on guns, ammo, scopes, accessories, and more. Sold at wholesale prices, plus jewelry, gift ideas, and door prizes.
We'll scour it through, find the best bargain, come back and buy it.
Crossroads of the West Gun Show this weekend at the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield. All sales are conducted. You can buy, sell, and trade at all Crossroads gun shows.
You see the light come on, it's flashing at you, check your mileage, and yes, it's time for an oil change. Don't wait until your engine begs for help. Head to Kern Oil Change. Fast, friendly, and affordable service that keeps your car running smooth. No appointment needed. Just roll in, roll out, and drive with confidence. Plus, get free fluid top-off with every oil change. Kern Oil Change has 2 locations to serve you, 3706 Coffee Road and 5651 Auburn Street. Kern Oil Change is open 7 days a week. Get in, get out, get on with your day. Follow us on Instagram for additional savings.
Hi, John Hall from John Hall Jewelers, where we are celebrating 74 years in business with our anniversary sale. Just in time for Valentine's Day, you can get Don Hall diamonds or a custom-made treasure for your special Valentine. We have a great selection of estate jewelry, pre-owned Rolex watches, and Cartier love bracelets. Come see us for that special anniversary gift and make it a Valentine's Day to remember. Don Hall Jewelers, on the corner of California and Mohawk in the Stockdale Tower.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Eight 842-537-6842-KER. And yeah, Chris was just reminding me that James Vandermeer finally succumbed to cancer. He's been battling it for about 5 or 6 years. 48 years old.
I didn't even know you had cancer.
Yeah, he's been battling it for a while. And that's what sucks about cancer. That's what just such an insidious disease. You know, that's why it gets so much more attention than heart disease. Because children don't die of heart disease. They just don't. But they die of cancer. And normally 48-year-old men don't die of heart attacks. Some do. My dad was 56, but most don't. But a lot of men, a lot of women, particularly with breast cancer, die in their 30s and their 40s. And it's just such an insidious disease because you've got to fight it. And you're going into the fight knowing you're probably going to lose, but you can't, you know, I think physiologically you can't approach it like that. I really believe in faith and hope and the will. And some people survive it and some people don't. It's just crazy. And you live so miserably. You know, I have so many friends that have gone through chemotherapy. One of my best friend's wives had breast cancer. She just went through it. And particularly for women when they lose their hair, which, you know, to men doesn't seem like a big deal, but for women is a huge deal emotionally. And just the pain of chemotherapy. And then the belief that I've beaten it. You know, how many times have you heard a cancer victim say, I've beaten it, I'm cancer free. And then 2 years later, it pops up and metastasizes, or it spreads through their body, and there's just nothing you can do. It's just really sad. It's 6 kids. 6 kids. The only thing you could bet on is that those 6 kids are going to be very, very close. You know what I'm saying? As they grow older, having gone through this, they're going to be very, very close. And they'll be very close with their mother their whole lives. It's just really, really sad. It really is. But nothing is more sad than, in my opinion, a unified school district. In some respect, I don't know whether they were shielding Timothy Seaman or protecting him or trying to cover their own ass. But this was a man who had multiple complaints that began as late as September of 2024, when a parent complained that he was hugging on their child, that he was picking her up, he was calling her her favorite. That was just blown away. Then 2 months later, just 2 months later, another parent complained at Cummings Valley Elementary School that he had a child had wrapped her legs around him. The principal investigated it, told him essentially that can't be done. Then he was shipped off to Golden Hills Elementary School, where he was accused of kissing a child on the neck. And she claimed that he hugged her, and she said, quote, I hate it when he, quote, hurts her butt. That was in May of 24. The very same day, he was alleged to have gone to a bathroom with a child, and the child came out of the bathroom with her skirt on incorrectly and unbuttoned. Then there was another incident in April of 25, where he was seen holding hands with a second grader. And then in March of 25, Parents were complaining that he was showing favoritism to young girls and holding their hands and hugging them and taking selfies with them and making them feel uncomfortable. And the craziest thing about this is when they went to look at it, when the cops went to look at this thing, none of these elementary schools did any type of substantial investigations. There's no records of any type of investigation into this guy until the cops got involved. And then they go to his house, of course, and they find child pornography, message chats, all this kind of nonsense. And now he's being held without bail. He's got a court appearance on February the 25th. And you all help me because I'm totally at a loss for this as to why they would ship this guy around. I mean, I hate to compare this to the situation with Catholic priests, but it's the only analogy. It's the most obvious analogy out there. There was a period, I think, throughout much of the 20th century, when the Catholic Church was facing this situation, and they basically were peddling priests around from parish to parish, not really dealing with the problem, but just shipping them and getting them out there. And it seems that's exactly what the Tehachapi Unified School District was doing. And I strongly hope that the Board of Supervisors or somebody will look into this thing and examine what the hell is going on up there in Tehachapi. This is crazy. If it looked, I mean, in this environment, in this era, I'm sorry, if there's one incident, if there's one complaint, that teacher has to be, or professional, that staff or whoever he is, has to be examined, has to be questioned, has to go through a thorough investigation. And the Tehachapi Unified School District just absolutely let down all those children. The one place where our children are expected to be as safe as they can possibly be outside the home, and these people aren't protecting them. They're shielding the crimes of a child molester. Okay, well, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, because I can't think. It's hard for me to concept that's their motivation. But then the only other alternative is just laziness and negligence. Just let's just sweep it under the rug. We don't have time to deal with this. I don't know. I really don't. I would think that the Unified School District would be eager. Oh, we cannot have this. This will ruin our entire reputation. This will ruin the reputation of every elementary school in our school district. We can't have this. You would think they would err on the wrong side. They would go after somebody who was innocent out of fear of having somebody amongst their midst. Amongst their midst? It's a little redundant. But no, if anything, it was the opposite. They lent a blind eye to this. They absolutely turned their back on all those kids in the Golden Hills Elementary School, the Cummings Valley Elementary School, and the Tompkins Elementary School. And this guy, the Seaman character with all this kiddie porn at his house, was shipped from one school to the other. All three. So they gave him an opportunity to feast on every child, basically in Tehachapi, every elementary school child in Tehachapi. This guy had access to. Because the school district just peddled him around. What? There's a problem there? We'll send him to Cummings. What? There's a problem there? Well, we'll send him to Golden Valley. And then finally, he ran out of schools. And the cops got involved. And now he's sitting in jail without bail, thank you, Jesus. No thanks, however, to the Tehachapi Unified School District. Nicely done. Nicely done. You see what I'm saying? When I always talk about how we talk a good game, we talk a great game about defending our seniors, our veterans, our children. We talk a great game. But do we really? Do we really take care of our seniors? How long have we been dealing with this damn VA, this situation here in town? How long has that been going on? For years. For years, it's been going on. And how many incidents do we read about teachers molesting students Well, you can't prevent that, I suppose. But how many times have we seen a situation like this where parents and students do the right thing and try to bring it to the attention of officials in charge, and they let a blind eye? Or they ship them off to some other school to avoid any type of confrontation. I guess, I don't know. I can't explain the motivation. I can't explain the reasoning because it doesn't make any sense that's in my brain. It's just sad and tragic. Those kids are ruined. Don't they understand that as school officials? That for every one of those incidents, these kids will remember this for the rest of their lives, particularly when he goes to jail and it's all in the news. And you know, kids, you say, well, they don't watch the news. Well, shut up. They listen to their parents. They do watch the news. If the parents are watching the news, they hear the parents talking about it in the car. They hear the parents talking about it at the dinner table where they think that the kids aren't listening. Kids are not as stupid as sometimes we give them credit for being. They're a little more savvy than you think. And when this thing hits the fan, when he gets found guilty, this thing will be all over the news, will be all over the newspaper, will be all over the internet. These kids will be talking about it at recess. You remember Mr. Seaman? He's going to prison. It's crazy. And yet none of those officials in the school district will even get a rap on the wrist. Again, I call, who's out there now? Who replaced Zach Scrivener? Was it Peters? Was it Parlier? Was it Chris Parlier that filled in, is taking that spot? I think it is. Whoever it is. In fact, the whole board should come up with something, some type of investigation. Put together some sort of team to go up there and interview the officials with Chris Parlier.
It's Chris Parlier.
Oh, well, I might even text him. And let's get these people in front of the Board of Supervisors and ask them a couple of questions. What the hell was going on? Like maybe after the first complaint at the first school, okay, we'll give you a pass. Maybe even a second pass. But after the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth complaint, and you do nothing? There's no trace of any investigation conducted? That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back. We'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. Our phone number, 842-5376, 842-KERN. Top of the hour, Howard Marcus, our former federal agent, will join us. We'll ask him his thoughts on the Nancy Guthrie situation and how the Pima County Sheriff's officials and the FBI are handling this thing. And where do we go now? And in case Howard's listening, my first question will be, is Nancy Guthrie alive, in your opinion, Howard? We'll talk with him at the top of the hour. Then in the 5, Dr. Stephen Bloomberg will join us. We'll talk about whether or not community colleges are going to emerge and start providing more and more 4-year degrees as CSUs are trying to keep the 116 California community colleges in their lane and prevent them from providing cheaper, more accessible education to rural areas throughout the state of California. Again, there are 116 community colleges, about 23, 24 CSUs. And it's a whole lot cheaper, too. Check out the story in yesterday's LA Times. We'll talk with the chancellor at 5 o'clock. Then at 5:30, Jared Kaneshita, local boy. I think he went to Highland. I better not guess, because we went to the rival school. He ain't going to be happy with me. But he's a local kid. He's a great kid. He's one of the pros up at BCC. He threw up a 65 today. He's one shot off the lead. A kid named Carlos Pereira out of state is leading at 7 under par. And some of the other local boys are starting to put up some numbers. Bhavik Patel just made birdie on the back. He's now 1 under. Today's the first round. Thursday, tomorrow, 35% of the field will be cut. And then Friday, the final groups will go out, and a $30,000 check will be rewarded to the winner at the end of the day. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk
I have no water.
96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Do we have any water in here anywhere?
Probably not unless we have some in the vending machine. Definitely have Powerade in there though.
I can't drink that shit.
It's a little too much for me too. You have Casey right here though.
Is it? It's like this kind of shit, isn't it?
Really? On
Is it?
Powerade?
I don't know. Is it?
No. Powerade's like Gatorade.
Oh.
No, not the Monster. No, you don't want that.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
SamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
The countdown is on, fellas. Valentine's Day is this weekend, and if you haven't made your reservations at KC Steakhouse, you might be out of luck. So I suggest you pick up the phone right now and call Cassie Biddle and make some reservations, because where would you rather be? Or screw that, where would your wife rather be, or your girlfriend, or whatever? I'm telling you, not only was KC Steakhouse voted best steakhouse, but it was voted best ambiance. I forget how it was put, but it's true. It is one of the best ambiance. It's one of the great date places in Kern County. The leather red chairs, the dark ambiance, and of course, Jimmy and Bobby are providing live music in the main restaurant. And a girl named Lottie's got an acoustic guitar next door at the Speakeasy type bar, the Stockyard. You can have dinner over there. And I'm just saying, call now. Don't try to walk in over the weekend. It's where you want to be for Valentine's Day. KC Steakhouse on F Street. Tell them Ralph sent you, longtime sponsor of the Ralph Bailey Show.
We'll admit, we've already thrown in the towel on the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and we made it through dry January. But one healthy new habit we're sticking with is Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to help protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Yup, more energy and the peace of mind knowing we can enjoy the good things in life while giving our liver the love it needs.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries in Kern County. If you're eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens and cares about you with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations, it's time you learned about QualCare IPA. You know, for years, I've been telling you QualCare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans and provides you with access to a large network of outstanding doctors and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond original Medicare benefits coverage, and understanding these coverage differences may be confusing. Call us today at 661-554-4544 and let us help you understand your options for 2026. Call today, 661-554-4544. That's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs and meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Been a messin' where you shouldn't have been a messin'. And now someone else is getting all your best. These boots are made for walking,
and that's just what they'll do. One of these. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Look what JR got me. Ooh, thank you. I thought you know what I did? I thought it was Tuesday. I'm telling you, I'm losing it. Because I knew I bought 2 on Monday. So I was like, oh, it's Tuesday. I got 1 more left. I'm like, I open the refrigerator. I'm like, damn, it's Wednesday. I ain't got no water. Damn. Anyway. Thank you, JR. Gotta have my water. That's all I'm drinking now. You know, I'm not even having cocktails at night. And what I did, I tried to make a cocktail Monday night. And I had like 3 sips. It got me through dinner. And I just left a half a cocktail in a water glass. And I was just like, oh, this pains me.
You know, I had McDonald's.
Poured it out.
I had McDonald's last night for the first time in I think like a month.
Really?
Yeah. And I could taste every bit of salt in that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I have not had, I've been eating so well. I had, what did I have last night? I had Coconut Joe's, took all the skin off the chicken, and I took half the rice and poured it out and just had a little bit of rice and the beans over the rice. Because I'm trying to do no carbs. I haven't had any bread. The only bread I've had is from Bonnie's Best, their egg salad sandwich, because it comes in brown bread, which is much better even than wheat. So I figure I can get away with that. But yeah, my A1C jumped back up into the 6s, and I'm just not going to have it. Just not going to have it. Just not going to do it. And I can't drink my vodka because I drink that with cranberry and pineapple juice, which is really, really sweet. So I've been kind of sober and cranky the last couple of days. 842-537-68. I've been eating a lot of avocados. And you know what I'm having for dinner tonight? I'm having tuna fish, avocado, and boiled eggs. I chopped the boiled eggs in the tuna, chopped the avocado. Ooh, I need an onion. I forgot I needed an onion. Some chopped onions in there. Ooh, you know what I'll do? What I used to do when I did hot dogs? This is so stupid. I don't know why I'm admitting this. You don't know what I do? I've never told you this.
I'm not sure.
Walk up to the Arco and go to the hamburger thing.
You are not.
Yes, I do. Get a little bigger. Pretend like I'll just buy a hot dog and not eat it, and pile up on the onions, and just throw the hot dog away and take the onions. It's worth $1.50 for some onions. What am I gonna do? Call Albertsons and have them Uber me an onion? I just went shopping. I don't need anything. I would just shop and just get a bunch of stuff.
Cheaper.
But I just then buying the hot dog, throwing away a hot dog. I'll just buy a little. Hell, I might even eat that burger. No, I won't eat that burger. What do you got on the board? I'm sorry to bore you with my silly life.
Pam Bondi, who's getting paid by the people, is a public employee, acts like she's Donald Trump's personal lawyer, who, by the way, was the attorney general for Florida when Jeffrey Epstein was
sweetheart deal
with the Cheese children.
Yeah, and that's when he got the sweetheart deal. I thought she was going to be the superstar of this cabinet. I really did. She's a beautiful woman. She's smart. She's aggressive. She's forward. She's a good lawyer, from what I was told, coming out of Florida as the AG. She was Ron DeSantis' handpicked gal, and I thought she was going to be the absolute superstar of this cabinet. We're going to talk about this after we talk with Howard, and we've got some audio of just an embarrassing hearing today. And she does this because Trump loves it, where instead of she literally does not answer the question, and not like in a Supreme Court kind of a way, where, they'll ask, what about the Dred Scott case? Well, there are several facets about the Dred Scott case. You could look at it from the slave owners' part and the era that went on. You know what I'm saying? You could ramble about the Dred Scott case, which basically determined that black folks were chattel property and was later overturned by the 15th Amendment. But at least you could address it. Bondi's not even pretending to address the question. You know what I'm saying? The question will be, why did you say the list was on your desk? Well, Congresswoman, you didn't vote for this anti-Semitic vote on 1995, which makes you anti-Semitic. I mean, she literally said that to one Congresswoman who literally walked out. She brought up some vote from the past and tried to label the woman anti-Semitic. And despite the fact that her time was done, the Democratic Congresswoman, she blew her top. It was too late. I couldn't have sent it to Chris because it was like 2 o'clock when I saw this. But she was like, oh, really? You want to go there? You'll see it tonight if you watch the news. You want to go there? And she said something that I couldn't even make out. And then she stormed out of the room. I mean, Bondi is just a despicable, low-level, just snake. And Trump loves it. That's why she does it. Where she's just like, screw it, I'm not going to answer any questions. And she goes into the panel with a binder on every single guy. The only one she didn't get, the guy outsmarted her, I forget his name, I think he's from Wisconsin, where he said, well, I'm not even going to ask you any questions because you're not going to answer them. But I'm excited to hear what you're going to say about Ralph Bailey. I can't wait. Go ahead. I'm done with my response. Go ahead. What do you got for Ralph Bailey? And she was like, well, I'm not even going to respond. Because now she couldn't. She couldn't be like, well, let me look up my Ralph Bailey notes and start going in at the guy because he already set her up. So she was just like, well, I'm not even going to dignify you with an answer, sir, since you're not going to ask me any questions. It's like, yeah, I outsmarted your dumb ass. She's an absolute embarrassment. And wait till you hear this audio. Because again, this isn't about issues. This isn't about Republican and Democrat. This isn't about the Trump agenda. This isn't about the administration. This is about the Epstein files. This is about finding some other culprit other than Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein for the hundreds of victims that were taken advantage of as children. We should all be livid about this. And I'm telling you, this could destroy the base. It was the Trump administration that pumped this up as they were going into office. It was the Trump administration with Dan Bongino leading the way, saying we're going to expose this and we're going to be transparent. And then to get them to release the documents, they had to go to Congress. They had to make it into a law. And the only reason that the president signed it is because it was veto-proof. There was no congressman or senator who was going to be on the wrong side of the Epstein files. The only people on the wrong side of the Epstein files right now is the Trump administration and Pam Bondi. Quick time out. Howard Marcus is next.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A Russian drone attack against Kharkiv has killed several members of a family. Correspondent Karen Chamas reports.
Rescuers scrambled to find survivors after the attack destroyed the house and trapped the family under rubble. Ukrainian officials said Wednesday that the family's pregnant mother was wounded but survived. The drone was identified as a Russian-made Geran-2. Ukraine's Air Force reported that Russia launched 129 long-range drones at Ukraine overnight into Wednesday. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian drone attack caused a fire at an industrial plant in the Russian city of Volgograd, causing 8 Russian airports to suspend flights, according to officials. I'm Karen Shamas.
House lawmakers have rejected President Trump's bid to prevent Congress from challenging his tariffs. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
3 Republicans voted with Democrats in favor of being able to debate tariffs. It was a setback for the Trump White House, which had lobbied GOP lawmakers. Democrats have introduced resolutions to end the president's tariffs on several countries, and Tuesday's vote allows them to move forward. Punchbowl News reports that Speaker Mike Johnson said, "This is life with a small majority." Greg Clugston, the White House.
Attorney General Pam Bondi took heated questions from lawmakers in a combative congressional hearing over the Justice Department's handling of files related to Jeffrey Epstein that have exposed sensitive private information about victims despite redaction efforts. The Attorney General gave a wide-ranging, passionate defense of President Donald Trump and mocked her Democratic questioners. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 66 points, the NASDAQ dropped 36, the S&P 500 down a fraction, oil up $1 to $64.96 a barrel. More at townhall.com.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax? I like it too. Newsmax, you like Newsmax? I like it too. It's true. Millions of Americans agree with President Trump, and they're switching to Newsmax. They're watching great shows with Greta, Carl Higbie, Rob Schmidt, Finnerty, and more. If you're tired of big media, start watching Newsmax. It's free to start. Go to newsmaxplus.com for immediate access. Get all of President Trump's most important events live. Imagine watching Mike Huckabee's Israel Report, our Melania documentary, Clint Eastwood, Charlie Kirk specials, even the movie Jesus of Nazareth by Franco Zeffirelli. Once you start Newsmax Plus, you won't stop. So try it for free. Go to newsmaxplus.com, then download the app. It's easy. So make the switch to Newsmax Plus today.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
A picture of a gun leads to arrests and discipline. I'm Chris Davis. That's because that picture on social media Friday was of a gun on campus at Centennial High School, says the school district police department. They say as soon as that was brought to their attention, they began an investigation, and now several students are looking at charges and school district discipline as well. No names have been released because they are juveniles, and police say they did find the gun in the picture off campus. The wind Tuesday afternoon wreaked some havoc around town, causing dirt and dust to be kicked up and even caused some traffic issues, with tumbleweeds being blown across the road and people to swerve to avoid them on Truxton Avenue near Mohawk Street. A tree also came down on the front of a house, causing some damage to the porch and the furniture on it. Less wind today, but it is still expected to blow fairly hard through the early afternoon. A not guilty plea from a woman accused of stabbing another woman and running off, leaving the victim on the street outside a bar on 19th Street early Saturday morning. Bakersfield police say they chased down the woman and arrested Jada Renee and caught her with a knife. The victim is expected to pull through. Police say that all started as an argument inside the bar. Renee's bail is $55,000, and she is expected back in court next month. If you and the kids love seeing people compete and show off their skills on motorcycles, scooters, and other various vehicles, you may want to mark down March 14th. That is the date for the annual Bakersfield Police Motor Competition. And these guys know their stuff. If you want to watch, it's free, and the qualifying is all set for the day before the event. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Bing! You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 11th day of February. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at KERNradio.com. And don't forget, the Kern Radio studios are powered by Adaptive Networks. For all your IT needs, call Adaptive Networks at 661-241-0638 or online at adaptive-net.com. For all your IT needs, and as I enjoy reminding you, they're our IT provider. Ours, meaning American General Media. And I strongly suggest you give them a call, 241-0638, 241-0638, or online at adaptive-net.com. It is a I'm singing because you're on the phone. Is Howard not ready?
I'm ready. I'm here.
Oh, I thought he was on the phone with you. Who are you on the phone with? He chatting it up, talking to his girlfriend or something. I thought he was on the phone with you. So I was trying to buy time. What's going on, Howard?
I'll tell you, boy, I miss that guy. Listening to him sing.
Oh, man, I see.
That whole era.
I see
the
his,
old Vegas when it was really cool, you know.
I see his clips every night, and now I've got this algorithm where
it shows up,
yeah, and then I got another one that's it's like old Las Vegas, and it shows clips of
watching those
of the 60s. Yeah.
I'm getting the same ones. We watch the cars and people walking down the Stoll Strip.
Yeah, and
dramatically different. It's amazing.
So different, and it reminds me of the 80s because I remember when the Sands was still there before they raised it.
Oh yeah,
the Stardust. The Riviera,
the old Tropicana.
Yes.
The best. I tell people to watch Diamonds Are Forever. You want to see the old Vegas.
That is a good film. One of the later Bond pictures with Jill St. John.
Yeah, and what a hottie.
Oh, and She's running around in a bathing suit throughout most of that movie too.
Oh yeah, so they figured that one out.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
no
but
kidding.
it's the old Vegas. It's really neat. So
Yeah.
you go to Circus and all that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really is.
One of my favorite Bond films, actually.
Vegas is in trouble, dude.
Oh yeah, well, some guy just posted. I guess you go to Caesars and you order a bacon egg sandwich and a coffee. It was $27.
Yeah, it's stupid. That's crazy.
Pricing out the middle class, which is the mainstay. It's not the high rollers; it's the families.
That's how I got addicted. I could, on my literally $253 a week salary at the LA Sentinel, could still put a couple of bucks away. I could go to Vegas in my Chevy Chevette. I would literally drive in my Chevy Chevette and go up, take Friday off, and stay downtown for like 35, 40 bucks a night and blow like 100, 200 bucks and have a great time.
Oh yeah, I stay at a place next to Circus called the Westward Ho.
I know exactly what that is.
You know what that is? And they were the ones that had the famous, foot-long hot dog, steak and eggs for like $3.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. And you could rent these little mini apartments really cheap. So, a couple of buddies would go. We'd all each get a room. And you go down there and you'd have breakfast for, $5 spot.
Yeah.
And, it was a really neat atmosphere. And then if you wanted to gamble, you could gamble right there. Or you just go next door to Circus. Or, the strip at that point was pretty accessible.
And
then, the old Vegas, I miss it.
I do
my
too.
parents, I remember them dressing up and going. It was a big deal back in the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
Go there.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't now people flip-flops and cutoffs,
No, you were wearing a suit. If you went to a club, if you went to see somebody, you were in a suit and tie. And the women...
I went to the Bellagio dinner with my buddy about 20 years ago. He insisted we dress up. We were in suits. We walked on the floor. He made me do it. He walked on the floor for the Saturday dinner at the buffet. I looked around and went, okay, they either think we're mafioso or that we are Major D's because everybody else was wearing just about pajamas. I mean, it's horrible.
It is. It is.
Yeah, very depressing.
One of the great periods of my Vegas trips was in the 90s when I was really good friends with Larry Fields and Rob Walters and Jeff Harbin. And these guys, it's when I started becoming a pretty serious cigar smoker. Not any longer, thank you. And we go up to the cigar convention every year.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it was put on by Cigar Aficionado. So it was sponsored by Cigar Aficionado. And if you've ever read Cigar Aficionado, almost all of its advertising is liquor. So for $150, about 200-300 guys, they had 2 nights. You could go either Friday or Saturday. And the hardest part of the night was getting in because it was like 300 guys, and they'd all line up around 4:30. It'd take about 30 minutes to get in. That was the worst part. And then once you get in one of these big banquet halls, and you get about 25 cigars from the different cigar outlets.
Wow.
The booze was free.
Oh, wow.
Because it was all the sponsors. It was for 150 bones. And all the smokes, all the hors d'oeuvres. Like I would always ask Larry, these guys were all bougie and I made a lot more money. We would go have like this really expensive dinner before we would go. And I'd be like, why are we doing this?
Why would you do that?
They're great hors d'oeuvres. You know what I mean? Like steak bites and shrimp and all this stuff. And that was some of the best times. We'd go every year for about 4 or 5 years.
Well, that was a big trend, cigars. Remember, Arnold Schwarzenegger was selling cigars, and Bakersfield had those local cigar bars that were all around. It was a huge trend. It lasted, you're right, about 4 or 5 years. It was a big thing.
Yeah, the cigar shop's still doing well downtown on 17th Street.
Yeah.
I don't mean to name drop, but I've smoked cigars with the former governor.
Weren't you at his house? I thought you were at his house.
No, we were at his. Essentially, we were at his hotel. He lived in the hotel at the Sheraton back when he was governor, and it was one of the best. It was one of my favorite professional moments because I wasn't getting along with the late Inga Barks, and she was sitting at my table as we had dinner. And
that
one of
interesting.
Yeah, it was. Believe me, it was. And one of the governor's people came over and tapped me on the shoulder and said, loud enough for everybody at the table to hear, "The governor would like to see you after dinner." That was when I was tight with Kevin, and he was up in the assembly up there, and it was me, Jeff Denham, Kevin McCarthy, and the governor just sitting around talking football, smoking cigars. It was
and
great.
You didn't go much, I'm sure.
Yeah. It was really cool. I was shocked. He wasn't as big as I thought he was. He's broad.
He's not really a tall guy.
He's not. He really isn't.
No, I think he's like 5'10", maybe 5'11".
Yeah, but extremely broad. You can tell that out.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him short, especially after his face.
No, even at his age now, I wouldn't mess with him.
He's 75. He looks great.
He does look good. He really does. All right, so let's get to the molasses, Howard. So is Nancy Guthrie alive in your opinion?
No.
I don't think so.
The main reason why, honestly, the supposition is going to drive us nuts, but it's going to be what it's going to be when it finally comes out.
Right.
It could be something like the Lindbergh baby where they really never saw what happened, or it could be something immediately obvious. But when the family said she was mentally fragile and had to have medications on a daily basis that were life-sustaining,
Yeah.
and as far as I know, because they haven't released this information, the kidnappers didn't take medicine with them.
No.
We would have known that. And what is it, 10 days in now?
I think 12. I think
12 days
11
in.
or 12, yeah.
If you had to have life-sustaining medication and you're almost on your second week without it, and you're already frail and elderly, what does that tell you?
Yeah.
You know, and they've met the ransom demands and said we just want proof of life, and they haven't received it.
Yeah.
So either these are bogus ransom demands from some idiot on the internet, which is entirely possible, or it's legitimate and they can't provide the proof of life because there isn't any.
Well, that's what they think of the third note. In fact, we've got some audio from Harvey Levin. TMZ has absolutely owned this. They got the third ransom note where this guy wants a Bitcoin payment. Here's let me
trace those.
Yeah, let me just play this real quick. Here's Harvey Levin.
Sure, no.
TMZ has just been sent a third letter. Please explain and describe what you got about 90 minutes ago.
So an hour and a half ago, we got kind of a bizarre letter, an email from somebody who says they know who the kidnapper is and that they have tried reaching Savannah's sister Annie and Savannah's brother to no avail. And they said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address. And as they put it, time is more than relevant. So we have no idea whether this is real or not, but they are making a demand. It's interesting that Bitcoins fluctuate in value, but it's around $56,000 now, 1 Bitcoin, which is about the amount that the authorities are offering for information leading to the return of Nancy. So I don't know if that aligns, but whoever sent this, and they actually give a name and an email address, but whoever sent this is asking for around that amount.
Why can't they crack this, Howard? They've got the guy's name, they've got an email address,
They can find anybody's IP address. I mean, people try and hide and go on what's called, people don't know, there's something called the dark web, which is supposedly an off-grid kind of equivalent of the the internet, and that's where a lot of the sex trafficking happens, and a lot of the child pornography, things like that, and the FBI is constantly on that stuff. My opinion is, you're on the internet, they will find you. It's just a matter of how much work's involved. It's almost impossible unless you have dummy servers in other countries and you're rerouting stuff like that, which is always possible. That's how a lot of these internet scams are. They're being routed out of Africa or Ukraine. I don't know, and we're not going to know until we know. I mean, that sounds kind of simple, but the reality is they're not going to give us more information than they absolutely have to.
Right.
And if they're tracking these guys down, we're not going to know about it because they're certainly not going to broadcast that. The FBI is pretty much on this kind of stuff. This is really their bailiwick.
Well, how is this guy, how is that idiot that we saw in that film fooling the FBI for 10, 11, 12 days? Because I don't know. One of the consensus is he doesn't look like a professional, because one of the smartest things I heard from one of the former female FBI agents last night was she said, well, he's clearly an amateur. And the host said, why would you say that? How could you determine that from just this short video? She said, did you notice how he tried to cover up the camera? He used bushes. He used weeds. A pro would have had a can of paint and just went psh, and shut it down immediately. Instead, this guy goes to the camera, then goes back to the lawn and gets some flowers or some weeds and tries to cover up. That doesn't sound like a pro to me.
It's quite possibly not. It depends on depends how many people are involved. If you have a goober that's an accomplice, something that I was mentioning to Chris. I don't know if people are aware of this, but the Southeast United States, outside of Mexico, has a huge amount, and it's mostly under the radar, but law enforcement is aware of it, of kidnaps for ransom by cartels. The driest area outside of Mexico City itself for the longest time, well, of all places, was Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
And this is very common, as you probably know. This is very common in Mexico.
Yeah.
High dollar ransoms of individuals or family. Usually it's the family members, being ransomed like this. This is not uncommon. The part that worries me is if this is an indicator of an ongoing trend that's now spilled over our borders, because people don't realize we have sealed the border, but they're already here.
Yeah.
And if this is part of this new trend that we're going to see American citizens, celebrities, family members being kidnapped for ransom, while it's not a new trend, goes back, until time kidnapping started, God knows when. This may be a more worrisome sign than just this individual kidnapping. And I'm not denigrating what's happening to the family, but they haven't ruled that out or even commented on it, but that could be worrisome.
Yeah.
This is because Americans don't take their security. The only complaint I have about this whole thing with Savannah Guthrie's family is if you've got a multi-year contract for millions of dollars, your mother is medically fragile, is not mobile. Where is the live-in help? Where is so much as just a barking dog? Why is the security system not top of the line with the security service? And if my mother and I had the money, I guarantee she would be sitting in the house by herself.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I don't understand that. At 84 years old, she either should be in a assisted living home because she apparently needs it. High end. Savannah's got the money. There's no guarantee. I guarantee she has the money if she wants
$8 million a year.
Yeah, she has the money. You could have all the live-in 24/7. I have a friend whose wife does this. You could afford it easily 24/7, multiple people in that house, a cook, a housemaid, or whatever you want. Why aren't they there?
Yeah, I agree.
That kind of, and I'm not being, you don't want to be the victim, but my question is, why? What, you too tight with the money? It's your mom.
Yeah, I agree.
And
you're on the other.
It's an analysis that'll happen later, but why do you place her up by yourself at risk? What if she fell and broke her hip?
Well, that's why I said, this could be the end of Savannah Guthrie's career.
Well, the questions like this might come out.
How the hell does she go back and do television after this? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. It's,
I mean,
I'm not blaming her.
Even if her mother comes home safely, she's got to mentally, you don't think she's going through, did I cause this because I'm a celebrity? Is Howard right? Should I have spent more money on my mother's security? Should I have had a live-in person there? Should I have done this? Should I have done that? She's going to be psychologically screwed. I don't know how she just flies back to New York and starts that 3 a.m. schedule again and goes on television every morning smiling. Good morning, I'm Savannah Guthrie. I just buried my mother. You know what I'm saying? I'm really thinking that if this thing goes badly, we might not see her on TV again.
Well, here's the question. I'll put it to you this way. You're very close with your mother. You've talked about it repeatedly.
Yeah.
If you had the money anywhere near Savannah's, wouldn't you do better for your mother?
Oh, absolutely.
I would. My mother was still alive and I had the money. It wouldn't even be a question.
Absolutely.
It would already be a fait accompli. My mother would have the best care available to be live-in help. She wouldn't have to lift a finger.
I do everything I can for my mother within my budget.
That's very admirable. But that's what I'm saying.
In fact,
you don't have the funds. You don't have millions of dollars.
Just a month ago, I realized, my mother started doing dialysis 3 days a week.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And I realized that she was Ubering. I was like, you know what? Damn, why am I not paying for that? And I said, Mom, just call me. I'll send you a $25 back. It's like $10 to her hospital and back. To her hospital, $20 each way. I said, Mom, just call me and I'll give you a $25 voucher. You don't have to come out of your pocket. And I should have been doing that from day one. Huh?
Didn't that prove my point, though?
Yeah, exactly.
A loving family with a loving mother. Apparently, they had a close relationship. But by all appearances, I haven't heard otherwise. Crack your wallet open.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have never happened.
Yeah, you're right. It's sad.
And that's the only negative I have to say about it. And we don't know the rationale behind this. Maybe her mother didn't want to be independent.
Right.
Have the semblance of independence. Was very fiercely independent. Didn't want anybody taking care of her. There are people like that.
There are. My mother's like that. And the daughter lives 10 minutes away. So, you think that, nothing will happen until it happens. And the other thing that I found bizarre is, given her $8 million salary, the reward is $50,000.
I don't get that. I would just open the wallet up and say, just take what you want. Get my mom back.
I'll give you $1 million. Just bring my mom back.
Easy. You get $8 million. Get it back in a year.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the sky would be the object. The unfortunate problem is, as in so many kidnappings, is actually, and FBI statistics will show this, very rarely does the kidnapping victim come out of it alive.
Especially after this length.
Yeah, it's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Because the kidnappers are at more risk trying to return the victim unharmed than they are just to, take the logical conclusion.
Yeah.
It's very tragic. Look, I'm sympathetic. The only problem I have with this is that this has become a nonstop 24/7 focus.
Yeah, it is.
The exclusion of all else, when we have huge stories that are happening daily all over the world in the United States that are going to impact you and me for the next 10 years, 20 years, world events, and we have such a transitory attention span, this idea that we have to have instant gratification and go on to the next subject. We haven't heard a word about what's going on with Iran killing protesters. They're still doing it. All these other world events, all these major events in the U.S., and we're talking about one person and one family, which is tragic, and we tend to focus on celebrities. But it's 20 years from now, it's going to be old news. A year from now, it'll be old news.
2 months from now, it'll be old news.
Yeah, it'll be old news.
We've got a government shutdown going on Saturday at 12:01, and nobody's talking. Even I haven't talked about it, really. I've alluded to it, but nobody's talking about that. The government's going to shut down. There's going to be no TSA payment, no FEMA, no Coast Guard, no FAA. So if you're flying this weekend, guess what? Get ready for delays and cancellations.
It's going to be a zoo. Well, look at it this way. They just had to think about the refineries in California. They're expecting a humongous gas surge in prices. That's something that affects you and I because your Uber and everything. My costs go up.
And the mileage thing.
Exactly. Kaiser's on strike. I just found out I had to go to the pharmacy. I only have one pharmacy in Bakersfield that Kaiser's maintaining open because of the strike.
I thought they settled that.
No, I was just told today. My wife just put in a prescription, said I had to go to one office only. The other ones were closed.
Wow.
And that doesn't even, it's under the radar.
Yeah, it is.
Because we focus on, look, we worship celebrities. I get that. It's more interesting to talk about that than economics and dry subjects.
But we got to talk about economics and dry topics. Have a wonderful weekend, Howard. Say hello to Mary. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Wednesday.
I'm telling you, I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it.
I know,
I'm all over the place. I thought it was Tuesday earlier today. I'll see you, man. Howard Marcus, quick time out. Not a lot of time before we get to the bottom of the hour. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1.
Adaptive, but is Bloomberg at 4:30 or 5?
5.
He's here already.
For 4:30?
And he thought he was at 4:30.
Okay.
You want to sneak him in at their 4:30?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. Let's do adaptive. While you're doing that, I'll go tell him.
Okay.
At fault, some say big food. We'll take a look at it in the news of the day as well. That's what we do around here on the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The Cornelia Studios are powered by Adaptive Networks for all your IT needs. Call Adaptive Networks at 661-241-0638 or online at adaptive-net.com. If you're tired of IT companies forcing your business into their one-size-fits-all solutions, well, you need to call Adaptive Networks. They're entirely different, and no one knows better than the folks here at American General Media because we've tied up with Adaptive Networks to provide our IT service. Adaptive Networks, they're customer-driven. They're creating custom technology solutions that fit your unique business needs, not generic packages. And while other MSPs make you adapt to them, Adaptive Networks adapts to you. Call them today at 241-0638, 241-0638, or hit them online at adaptive-net.com.
I'm here with Dr. Tarkesh from Affordable Dentures and Implants. Doc, what would you say to someone who's been putting off dental work?
I don't know how I do that.
I get it. That's why I was like, he rang the doorbell. I was like, why is he here already?
Did you tell him we thought it was 5?
Yeah, I did. I was like, he told me it was 5, and he said, no, I think it was 4:30. That's why I had to ask you.
Oh, good.
You did Affordable Dental.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you can walk out of our office with a brand new smile in just one visit. We have an in-house lab that allows us to create custom dentures on the spot, so you don't have to wait weeks. It's perfect for patient who wants fast, efficient, and effective solutions without multiple appointments.
Get the smile you always wanted without anxiety at Affordable Dentures and Implants. Dr. Nozar Tarkesh, who specializes in implants with IV sedation. Visit them online at affordabledentures.com or call 831-7230 to schedule your appointment today.
Go ahead and smile.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I want to thank Howard Marcus. Be back with us next Wednesday. Totally losing it. Let's read a couple of text messages and we'll get Dr. Stephen Bloomberg in here, the Chancellor of Bakersfield College.
I'm curious if school districts somehow have their heads tied because the teachers' unions their hands tied, I apologize, because the teachers' unions protect teachers who get in trouble. Unions' jobs to protect their rank and file, and that is a good question to ask.
You're absolutely right, but somebody has to ask that question because what happened at the Tehachapi Unified School District should never happen, where this alleged child molester, Timothy Siemens, and he is alleged, he's got a trial date come up February 25th. He's being held without bail. There were 6 different complaints. And, maybe one complaint, you look into it, doesn't seem real, but after 2, 3, 4, and the manner in which they shipped him from elementary school to elementary school, he was at 3 different schools within a year. There were 2 different complaints within a number of months. 2 different complaints inside of 2 months. This thing stunk from high heaven. And again, once the police got involved, once the Tehachapi Police Department got involved, they chronicled that there's no evidence of any investigation, no probe whatsoever done by the Unified School District. So, yes, you're right. The school districts do run cover for these teachers and staffers often, but this seems not to be the case. Seems that the Tehachapi Unified School District just dropped the ball. The Chancellor of the Bakersfield College, Dr. Stephen Bloomberg, joins us next.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Loser.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The search intensifies for missing Nancy Guthrie as FBI agents comb through rugged desert terrain and canvass a Tucson area neighborhood. Hundreds of investigators are assigned to the case, which has captured national attention since the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie disappeared. Authorities say they believe she was taken against her will after last being seen at her home January 31st. Attorney General Pam Bondi took heated questions from lawmakers in a combative congressional hearing over the Justice Department's handling of files related to Jeffrey Epstein that have exposed sensitive private information about victims despite redaction efforts. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 66 points, the Nasdaq dropped 36, the S&P down a fraction. This is SRN News.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Not guilty, says Jada Renee, the woman accused of poking a knife into another woman outside a bar on 19th Street this weekend after an argument between the two inside the bar. She faced a judge for the first time Tuesday and is expected back in court next month.
Dr. Bloomberg.
Some kids at Centennial High School are in trouble with the school and the law after pictures of a gun on campus were posted on social media Friday. School police say they are facing discipline and criminal charges, and the gun was found off campus. The annual Bakersfield Police Motor Competition date is March 14th. Officers and personnel will qualify the day before, and if you and the fam want to come out, the event is free. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
We start with the CSU
Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Carpet Outlet Plus installed over 1 million square feet of flooring last year alone. Over 20 years of Bakersfield's best flooring store means you can trust us with your hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and of course, carpet. Come in today to see over 100 waterproof floors from our in-stock inventory. It's probably been time to change your floors for a while, so call, click, or stop by today. Your free in-home estimate is waiting for you. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
The Crossroads of the West Gun Show is coming this weekend to the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield.
We're finding everything we're looking for, so we're impressed. Awesome selection. Awesome, yeah, just a lot more than I expected to see.
It's America's premier gun show with great deals on guns, ammo, scopes, accessories, and more. Sold at wholesale prices, plus jewelry, gift ideas, and door prizes.
We'll scour through, find the best bargain, come back and buy it.
Crossroads of the West Gun Show this weekend at the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield. All sales are independent. You can buy, sell, and trade at all Crossroads gun shows.
It's the JR Show.
We need beds at the Mission and at the Open Door Network. We need mental health beds. We need substance abuse beds. I'm sorry, need jail beds. If your kid was acting up, breaking the law, I would. And my daughter knows this. I'll leave her to jail. She's 9 and she already knows. If I ever call dad from jail, you're where? Okay, well, thank you for letting me know, and I will see you in the morning. And I'm going to hang out.
The JR Show. Weekdays at 2 p.m.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
842-5376, 842-KERN. Coming up, top of the hour, we'll talk about Pam Bondi going before the congressional panel today in a very controversial, very heated panel. And we'll talk with Jared Kaneshita, pro out of BCC. The BC Open got underway today, and Jared, one of the local kids and a really good kid. I'm pretty sure he's a Highland graduate. He shot a 65. He's one shot off the lead, and some of the other local kids like Bhavik Patel and some of the others are on the back nine. We'll update you on that in the 5. But as those that are viewing on YouTube can see, we have a guest live in studio, the Chancellor of Bakersfield College, Dr. Stephen Bloomberg. Dr. Bloomberg, thanks for coming in.
Anytime, Ralph. How are you today, man?
I am outstanding. It's good to see you. Your debut in studio. We've talked to you over the phone a couple times.
Yeah. Happy to be.
Nice to have you in the studio.
Yep. I'm happy to be here in the studio, and great day to talk about all things Bakersfield, Kern Community College District. So happy to be here.
Absolutely. Once again, it's an old argument. This whole thing that is based, the first thing that caught my attention is this whole plan, the idea that the UCs will take care of the graduate programs, the CSUs will take care of the 4-year programs, and the 116 community colleges will act as stepping stones to the CSUs. But it's based on a program that was built in 1960. It's older than I am. Not many things are older than I am, Dr. Bloomberg. And yet they are still trying to keep community colleges in their lane, as we were just talking about, while they get out of their lane and start providing graduate program degrees. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. The thing you have to do is you have to look at the trends in the workforce. In other words, our business and industry partners. And the term that I'm going to use is applied baccalaureates. So what I mean by applied baccalaureates is, let's take, for example, Bakersfield College, as you know, has an industrial automation 4-year degree. Great program. Students graduate. There are great jobs here in Bakersfield, Kern County, in the logistics and automation industry waiting for them. That's an applied baccalaureate. And so, Ralph, I think it's based upon an older, archaic argument to your point that, well, the UC has their lane, CSU has theirs, California Community Colleges have theirs. Well, the problem is our business and industry partners are telling us that we need applied 4-year baccalaureates. And unfortunately, from the CSU system, there isn't room for these students. So I would also argue that anytime there's an unmet need, who better to step up and meet that need as it's workforce related than California Community Colleges? As you and I both know, that's codified in our mission, meeting workforce development needs.
Yeah, absolutely. And the key issue is not to duplicate any programs that the CSUs are providing. But what's wrong with that? There are 116 community colleges. There are what, 23 CSUs where you can actually, and the programs that you all are doing, reaching out to high schoolers, reaching out to 8th graders. You got 8th graders that were coming on campus this summer. It just seems to me, what is wrong with making it easier, making it cheaper, and more accessible to give children an opportunity in an education?
Absolutely. If I were looking at it through the California State University lens, here's what I would say. I would say that, you know what? The growth of applied baccalaureates at the community college level is advantageous to me, and I'm going to tell you why. And so there's a thing across the country, other states that I've served, that's called a post-baccalaureate certificate, right? It's short of a master's degree, but those are offered by 4-year institutions. When I was in Florida, I worked at Florida Gulf Coast University, Fort Myers, Florida, one of the state university systems in Florida.
Great community, by the way.
Great community, man.
Yeah, I've been
FGCU, beautiful campus. I was there during the whole Dunk City era. If you remember that, FGCU beat #2 Georgetown in the tournament. So really great place. Very entrepreneurial school. And so we had in Florida at that time, Florida actually started, this is in the mid 2000s, community colleges offering baccalaureate degrees. And to give you a specific example about how we partnered with our local community college, Edison State College, who used to be a community college, they offered a baccalaureate in compliance. And this is around the time of Sarbanes-Oxley. You probably remember all the compliance and banking issues. We put together a post-baccalaureate certificate in compliance. Huge demand for that because business and industry partners, again, wanted some post-baccalaureate training. And so I think my message to our CSU partners is, let's look at this as a win for everybody. Applied baccalaureate degree, opportunity for a post-baccalaureate certificate. That post-baccalaureate certificate could also translate into a master's degree. Well, if there's a way to build a pipeline here, we just need the CSU system to see it as a partnership opportunity, not as competition.
Right, exactly. That was going to be my next question. Is there a relationship between the community college and the CSUs that maybe one day we could sit down and re-examine the 65-year-old master education plan?
Absolutely. I mean, you and I would agree in 2026, things become outdated in probably the shortest amount of time ever, right? I mean, because things are changing so rapidly. And to give our local partner, California State University, Bakersfield, credit, Dr. Harper and I have a great relationship. The district and CSUB work together whenever we can. From a systemic perspective, though, yeah, I'd love to sit down with the system and say, let's figure this out. There's a need, clearly, that's not being met.
Yeah.
There are thousands of students across the state of California that are enrolling in these baccalaureate programs, being successful, getting great jobs. So there's got to be some middle ground here for us to be partners.
Absolutely. Do you see a day when community colleges will be providing more and more four-year degrees?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. As you probably know, in the last couple of years, there's been an effort in the state legislature to offer a pilot program of 15 districts for a Bachelor of Science in Nursing.
Nursing, yeah.
Twice that bill has passed the House, passed the Senate, meaning the Education Committee, passed all the hoops in both houses, vetoed by the governor both times, probably due to pressure from the CSU system. And the issue is, if there were, again, a pipeline for these thousands of students, you and I wouldn't be having this discussion. But the reality is, Ralph, that pipeline doesn't exist.
Yeah, yeah. What is the situation with CSUs? Are they experiencing a lull in enrollment while community colleges are growing in mass?
I think community colleges are absolutely growing. If you look at our district, for example, over the last several years, we've had unprecedented growth.
Yeah.
CSU system's growth has certainly not been at the same pace as ours. And part of that is, again, in relationship to what the workplace demands.
Yeah.
And we see our business and industry partners saying that we need these applied baccalaureates. Community colleges are flexible or responsive. We can turn around that need quicker than any other system. After being in this business 32 years, I know how quick and responsive we are. And so I think it's just a matter of the mission shifting, not us trying to take over CSU space. And so, to your point, let's sit down and have a conversation about how everybody wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking with Bakersfield College Chancellor Dr. Stephen Bloomberg, and that's a great segue what I wanted to get into, and that is something that, and I hate to be biased, but I am, to see a rise in the Black population out of BC over the last 10 years. And most recently, you were among, I think, a dozen of community colleges that were designated a Black Serving Institute. Explain to my listeners exactly what that means.
So there's some designations from the Federal Department of Education. One of them is a Black Serving Institution. So when a certain percentage of your students reaches a threshold, just like a Hispanic Serving Institution. As you know, Bakersfield College is now both a Hispanic Serving Institution and a Black Serving Institution. So that offers more opportunities for funding, that offers more opportunities for specialized programs for those student groups to help them succeed. And it's not that we don't help all students, but we have students that have an opportunity who are historically underprivileged, historically socioeconomically disadvantaged. Being a Black Serving Institution helps those students on a pathway to, by the way, speaking of CSUs, four-year degree, great job. And so being a Black Serving Institution is just, to your point, a recognition of the growth of our African-American students over the last decade or more.
Yeah, we've got about a 6% Black population. I think you've got about
4.6, just about 5%, very
About
close to
5%.
5%.
Yeah, that's outstanding. It really, really is.
Well, and I think for let's just say students of color, and whether it's African American, Latinx, any other color, I think the thing we want to do is understand that you can come to Bakersfield College, Saracoso Community College, Porterville College, obviously. Whatever your dream is, there's the start. And as you know from me being on the show before, I mean, I was a student in this district.
Right.
I got my start here. I'm a student from mixed race background. I mean, I had an opportunity to have people who cared about me and put me on a path. Now, granted, at that time, I didn't know that it would eventually lead me back to be the chancellor. But I mean, every single student has their own success story. And so being a Black serving institution helps our African-American students realize to a greater extent, Ralph, those success stories.
How do we reach out to those communities and get them to be able to put their arms around the fact that education is the magic bullet? It can elevate anyone and everyone. If you saw the high school that my father went to in Beaufort, South Carolina, you would say there is no way that man went to Morehouse College and became a scientist. Just no way. It's the magic bullet, but it doesn't seem like we're getting that message completely across.
I think there's things you have to do to be very intentional. And what I'm going to tell you is that you need to be out in communities. And when I say that, meeting with religious leaders.
Yeah.
Going to community centers, honestly, going to apartment complexes, going out and just simply talking to people and making sure they understand that this opportunity for higher education is inclusive of everyone. And yes, social media is great, advertising is great. We should do all that. But Ralph, I really believe it's about personal contact. It's about people hearing stories. You know, my parents didn't graduate from high school. They had no way to tell me about how to achieve higher ed. I got lucky. I was around some people with this district who noticed some things in me, and that's where it starts.
Yeah.
Somebody notices something in you and encourages you to go out and be better and do better. But the point is, it's about meeting them, whoever they are, wherever they are. So I think that's what we have to do. I've been really fortunate. I've met with our African-American religious leaders. I've sat in a church with them and had conversations about how do we find more mentors? How do we find more individuals who say to these students, there's a path for you. You got to work. You got to do the work. But man, there's a way to get from where you are to where you want to be.
Absolutely. That's my family story. My father had a chemistry teacher who said, dude, you're a math whiz. Use this and you can go forward. I'm running out of time talking with Dr. Stephen Bloomberg, the Chancellor of BC. I'll leave you with this. The Sterling Silver Dinner is coming up. That is a huge gala. You guys tell us all about it.
So the Bakersfield College Foundation has a gala every year called the Sterling Silver Celebration. So what Sterling Silver does is recognize some of our most valued partners, people who contribute to student scholarships. It highlights the students, just like you and I are talking about, that might not realize their educational dream without that scholarship. And so I think Sterling Silver is just one of those times where we celebrate. And that means we celebrate, again, the people who made it possible for students to realize their dreams. And then more importantly, we get to hear from those students firsthand. And we get to hear from those students about how that scholarship, that help, got them a lift up. It gave them an opportunity to get to where they wanted to go. And so it's a pretty amazing night at the Renegade Event Center, man. It's pretty inspirational. It's emotional. And I think it reminds us about why we do what we do.
Yeah. Coming up March the 14th,
I believe. Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday, March 14th.
Absolutely. Well, it's always great to talk to you. Thank you, sir. I throw you in the category as what I like to call one of those people in our community that makes it a better place to live. I truly believe that. Keep up the great work.
I will, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it. Dr. Stephen Bloomberg, Chancellor out of Bakersfield College. Take a short time out. We'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. We'll get into the 5. The BC Open, day 1, is just about done. The fellas are just about finished. And again, local BCC pro Jared Kaneshita threw up a 65. The rain came last night, slowed the greens down a little bit, and the fellas are firing at the pins. He is one shot behind the lead. We'll get you updated on some of the other local players. Bhavik Patel, Manav Shah shot a 67. He's right on the lead as well. We'll update you on that. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Outstanding. That was great. No problem.
News Talk 96.1 and AM
Oh,
1180
that's right. That's
KERN.
right.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, Dr. Corey Gonzalez will be here. That means burritos from Victor's, but also help with mental health stuff. Cities broke, counties broke. There'll be more news on that, plus traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1, streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm here with Dr. Tarkesh from Affordable Dentures and Implants. Doc, what would you say to someone who's been putting off dental work because of their fear or possible anxiety?
I say you're not alone, but don't let your fear hold you back. Affordable Denture and Implants, we offer IV sedation to make sure you're completely relaxed during your procedure. It's a safe and effective way to receive the dental care you need without any stress or discomfort.
And I heard that Affordable Dentures offer same-day dentures.
Yes, you can walk out of our office with a brand new smile in just one visit. We have an in-house lab that allows us to create custom dentures on the spot, so you don't have to wait weeks. It's perfect for patient who wants fast, efficient, and effective solutions without multiple appointments.
Get the smile you always wanted without anxiety at Affordable Dentures and Implants. Dr. Nozar Tarkesh, who specializes in implants with IV sedation. Visit them online at affordabledentures.com or call 831-7230 to schedule your appointment today.
Go ahead and smile. Look up in the sky. Yeah, that's what they cry. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's them. It's Paul Sheldon's team, that well-oiled machine of Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. Okay, not superpowers, but still thousands of hours deciphering Medicare's whims, fighting the good fight, learning what works right. Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. So it might seem old-fashioned, but hard work with passion most often gives you the win. And the trio that knows are those Medicare pros, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. You know, actually to many, they are superheroes. Christine, Kelly, and Lynn.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
We'll admit, we've already thrown in the towel on the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and we made it through dry January. But one healthy new habit we're sticking with is Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to help protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Yep, more energy and the peace of mind knowing we can enjoy the good things in life while giving our liver the love it needs.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meyer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Hush that child and don't cry.
Want to thank Dr. Stephen Bloomberg, Chancellor at Bakersfield College. Man, they're doing some amazing things. They really are. They really, really are. They're a program where they're going into high schools and providing high school kids with college credits. I always use T. Johnson's daughter as the example. She graduated from high school, damn near a college graduate. She's got like 2 years of credits of college, and she's 18 years old. She's halfway to graduate, if not further. And it's just a great program. And they're going out to McFarland, and they're taking, if you can't bring the horse to the water, bring the water to the horse. And that's what they're doing. They're going out to these rural communities and providing education for these people. Like I said, we had Dr. Pfluger, president of BC, on last week or the week before, and they've got a satellite campus going on up in Tehachapi, despite my idiot self saying Taft. I don't know where I got that from, but It is amazing what they're doing. It really, really is. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got on the board?
Shame on the Tehachapi School District for allowing this man to be in the district. He should have been gone on the first offense. Unfortunately, this is also what the Kern High School District does as a parent and complaint of sexual harassment that took place in the high school district. Nothing was done. They just moved the teacher to another school. So corrupt.
I don't understand that. Is it that they just don't want to get into a major lawsuit? What do you care? It's not your money. Does it reflect on them? If I'm a superintendent of a school district and I have a rotten teacher, does that reflect on me? Is that what it is? That somehow retards my career? I don't get it. I don't get it. And this shuffling off to other schools, how can you look yourself in the mirror? How can you go to sleep at night knowing that you've let this predator go prey someplace else? I just don't get it. I mean, how many damn elementary schools do they have up there in Tehachapi? This guy's been to 3 of them. I can't imagine they have many more than that. So basically, the Tehachapi Unified School District has turned this guy on to just about every elementary school kid at that age right now on to this guy. If you are, imagine if you're a Tehachapi parent and your kid went to Golden Hills or Cummings Valley and Tompkins, and you read about this. You know what the first thing those parents are going to do? They're going to run to their children's bedroom and be like, Ralph, do you know Timothy Siemens? You do? Did he ever touch you? Did he ever say anything inappropriate to you? Ever hug you? Ever kiss you? They must be panicked. Every parent in that damn school district must be panicked and having to have that conversation with their child. Because as we know, a lot of these kids don't want to say anything. They're intimidated or they adore the person. 6 different complaints, 3 different schools. It's not shameful, it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. And one of the earlier text messengers made a great point. The unions are a part of the problem as well, because they run roughshod for these guys and women as well. Please stand by. Kevin Zimmerman, former Shafter sheriff or police captain, police chief. I am just losing it. I really need to retire. Former police chief of Shafter, and had he stayed in the sheriff's department, I would have got him elected sheriff one day when Donnie steps aside. Really good guy. He's at the golf tournament. Teachers need body-worn cameras. You know what? We might be headed there, Kevin. We might be headed. I thought you were going to give me an update on your boy. I don't mean to tell his business, but his daughter's dating Carson Sorsey, who's a great kid who I see all the time at BCC. His parents are members, and he's a stick. And I did not see him on the leaderboard. I'll look at that at the top of the hour.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Oh, what? He didn't play well? What'd he shoot?
8 over.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
What's that, a 79?
79.
But for a high school kid, or maybe he might be a freshman in college, that's a damn good score up at that place right now. But for his age, it's not a bad score. 79. He shoots a 70, 69, 70. Maybe he makes the cut tomorrow. Probably not.
He outplayed a certain someone we know.
He outplayed Paul?
Yeah, he did.
What did Paul shoot?
Paul ended at 10 over.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, you can't blame him. He wasn't ready.
No,
Paul Guerra, who you guys heard on the show last week, he's the president of BCC. He had to fill in for Chris Riley, who we also talked to, the outlier that I talked about, the 52-year-old who was on the tour in the early part of the century. He was on the 2004 Ryder Cup team. He played with Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods. He's played against them. He's competed against John Daly. He lost in the playoff to John Daly, I think, by a stroke. And he came up here. We had him on the show. I told him I was going to get him into Nick Ragone's championship tour event in Philadelphia. And he played in the Pro-Am on Monday. I had a practice round yesterday and had to withdraw. We'll find out. We'll talk with Jared Kaneshita coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, who shot a 65. He's 1 shot off the lead. We'll find out why he dropped out, why Chris Riley dropped out. But Paul Guerra, who is, again, the president of BCC, they threw him in there because technically he's a pro, and he shot a 81. But I mean, you can't blame him. He wasn't ready. Like I said, I ran into him. He was playing with his family on Sunday. And had he known he was going to play, he'd have been out there banging balls and preparing for the tournament. But just to say, hey, you want to play with some pros? Sure. But we'll see. We'll talk with Jared. What else you got?
Let's see. We have the Epstein class here in Kern County, and it's getting bigger.
We have the Epstein class?
That's what I was wondering. Like an actual class on Epstein?
I don't really understand that.
I don't either.
Or is he saying we have a class of sexual predators, which we do, which makes it even more important that school districts like Tehachapi act immediately and summarily on these people? I mean, I just don't understand. Maybe one complaint, you investigate it, doesn't go anywhere, the kid doesn't say anything, okay. But 2 complaints, 3 complaints, and if they weren't taking these complaints seriously, why were they shipping them around to different elementary schools? There are 3 schools that he attended. He was at Golden Hills, he was at Cummings Valley, and he was at Tompkins with 6 complaints in his jacket. And then finally the cops get involved. They go to his home, and guess what? His computer's filled with kiddie porn and messages and chats, and these parents were complaining. It wasn't if they were silent. They were going to the administrations of these different schools and saying, look, this guy's hugging on my child. There was one incident where he kissed a child on the neck. I'm sorry, even if that's just pure affection and you're not a pedophile, you should be reprimanded for that. That's bizarre behavior. I don't care if it's what the intent is. Don't be kissing on my babies. What's the matter with you? And 8 times out of 10, it's an evil intent. We head into the final hour of the broadcast. Don't go anywhere.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A shooting at a school in remote northern British Columbia left 7 people dead, while 2 more were found dead at a nearby home. Royal Canadian Mounted Police Deputy Commissioner Dwayne McDonald said the suspect was a teenager identifying as female who had a history of mental health calls to his home.
Officers approached the school. Rounds were fired in their direction. Officers entered the school to meet the threat. Within minutes, an individual confirmed to be the shooter was located with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot. Suspect has been identified as 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar, who is a resident of Humboldt Ridge.
More than 25 people were wounded in the attack. The suspect's mother and stepbrother were also killed. Fiery clashes erupted at a House hearing today on the Jeffrey Epstein files. Attorney General Pam Bondi was the witness. Bondi says she's had enough of Democrats going after President Trump.
You all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it.
While Ranking Member Jamie Raskin expressed partisan contempt for Attorney General Pam Bondi's work.
Whether it's Epstein's human trafficking ring or the homicidal governmental violence against citizens in Minneapolis, as Attorney General, you're siding with the perpetrators.
House Republicans approved the SAFE Act legislation that would give new voter ID requirements ahead of the midterm elections. The bill passed Wednesday as a Trump administration priority aimed at scrutinizing ballot access, but it faces blowback in the Senate. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 66 points, the NASDAQ dropped 36. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax? I like it too. Newsmax, you like Newsmax? I like it too.
It's true. Millions of Americans agree with President Trump, and they're switching to Newsmax. They're watching great shows with Greta, Carl Higbie, Rob Schmidt, Finnerty, and more. If you're tired of big media, start watching Newsmax. It's free to start. Go to newsmaxplus.com for immediate access. Get all of President Trump's most important events live. Imagine watching Mike Huckabee's Israel Report, our Melania documentary, Clint Eastwood, Charlie Kirk specials, even the movie Jesus of Nazareth by Franco Zeffirelli. Once you start Newsmax Plus, you won't stop. So try it for free. Go to NewsmaxPlus.com, then download the app. It's easy. So make the switch to Newsmax Plus today.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
A picture of a gun leads to arrests and discipline. I'm Chris Davis. That's because that picture on social media Friday was of a gun on campus at Centennial High School, says the school district police department. They say as soon as that was brought to their attention, they began an investigation, and now several students are looking at charges and school district discipline as well. No names have been released because they are juveniles, and police say they did find the gun in the picture off campus. The wind Tuesday afternoon wreaked some havoc around town, causing dirt and dust to be kicked up and even caused some traffic issues, with tumbleweeds being blown across the road and people to swerve to avoid them on Truxton Avenue near Mohawk Street. A tree also came down on the front of a house, causing some damage to the porch and the furniture on it. Less wind today, but it is still expected to blow fairly hard through the early afternoon. A not guilty plea from a woman accused of stabbing another woman and running off, leaving the victim on the street outside a bar on 19th Street early Saturday morning. Bakersfield police say they chased down the woman and arrested Jada Renee and caught her with a knife. The victim is expected to pull through. Police say that all started as an argument inside the bar. Renee's bail is $55,000, and she is expected back in court next month. If you and the kids love seeing people compete and show off their skills on motorcycles, scooters, and other various vehicles, you may want to mark down March 14th. That is the date for the annual Bakersfield Police Motor Competition. And these guys know their stuff. If you want to watch, it's free, and the qualifying is all set for the day before the event. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think this is, the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get up close like this. Bing! You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 11th day of February, and the first round of the Bakersfield Open. And we've got some great news. Some of the local players have picked up the pace on the back, including Vivek Patel, two-time champion. We had him on last week. Vivek is at 4 under par, along with fellow BCC member Manav Shah, who posted a cool 67 as well. But Vivek has an interesting scorecard on the day. He had a roller coaster ride on the front nine. He started bogey, birdie on the first 2 holes, bogey, birdie, par 3 and 4, then went bogey, birdied the par 5-6 hole, birdied 7, a short par 4, although it's much harder. I don't know, we'll find out when we talk with Jared Kaneshita whether they're using those back pins. And then finished bogey, birdie for an even 36. He had 4 birdies on the front, but 4 bogeys on the front for an even 36. And then he cleaned up his act, literally and figuratively. He had no bogeys on the back. He birdied 10, 15, and 16 for a cool 32. He's in at 3 under par. No, 4 under par. He was 1 under on the front. He only had 3 bogeys. My bad. He only had 4 birdies, 3 bogeys on the front, and a clean back 9 with 3 birdies. So he's at 4 as well. And check out John Balfans, who is at 3 under par. I know Coach Kessler was following him throughout the day. And that's amazing. If that's the John Balfans that we all have read about over the years, isn't he like a contractor or an architect?
but it has him as a pro, right, Chris?
I mean, from what I could tell here on his profile on the, I don't know actually what website this is. Now I'm looking at it. On BlueGolf.com.
That he's a member of the Asher Tour?
Or at least he's done 2 tournaments. I don't know exactly when he was part of the Colorado Open, but yeah, no, he had tied for 46th in a tournament in Colorado and actually got paid $500.
Yeah.
So.
Neil Batista, who we've had on the program and is another BCC pro, he's at even. He's just 7 shots off the lead. He throws up a 67, 68. He's right back in contention, and more importantly, he makes the cut because 35% of the field will be cut tomorrow. I'm trying to look for some other local names on here. Our good friend Paul Guerra, who at the 11th hour was thrown in with these guys and didn't have an opportunity to prepare for the tournament. He was replacing Chris Riley. He kind of struggled on the day and is unlikely to make the cut, but I'm going to get out there tomorrow, just check out my boy. He's a dear, dear friend, and he's got his dad on his bag, so he's having the time of his life, I'm sure. He finished with an 81 on the day. And Carson Sorsey, the amateur out of Bakersfield Country Club, he shot 79. He was 8 over on the day. Had 5 bogeys on the front, shot 41. And I'm sure he's livid because that's not Carson Sorsey. He's a much better player than that. And had an up and down round on the back with a double bogey on 11, but he birdied 14 and 16 to come in with 38. So he's 8 over. He could still make the cut if he can throw up a low number. But he's a great kid. I see him out at PCC all the time. See him and his dad out there. And we wish him luck as well. In the meantime, I don't have time to get into this, so let's check the board and see what's going on.
Let's see. You should always have an onion on standby, Ralph.
You're right, but I don't cook that much. But you're right. I'm going to have a little tuna fish tonight, and I'm going to go steal some onions from the Arco. 63-year-old man leading a collegiate life still. I'm stealing from the Arco for my onions. I'm going to buy a hot dog. I'm not going to eat it. I'll throw it away. I can't just walk in and fill up a little cup of onions. I'll buy a hot dog. I'll get some cash back so I can tip my Uber Eats. I'll go home and make my tuna fish with my a little avocado, chopped avocado. Oh, I got a couple of tomatoes. I might throw some tomatoes in there. Can you throw chicken and tuna? Yeah. Would that taste good?
Shredded or cut up?
Cut up. Remember I bought the rotisserie chicken over the weekend? I don't know what to do with it. I'm trying to.
Oh yeah, if it's rotisserie and you're like taking chunks of the rotisserie,
yeah, just chop it up and just throw it in there.
I mean, it's now more than just two, but yeah.
Yeah, that might be a weird. I might lay off the chicken. That might be weird. Just make sandwiches throughout the week.
I would try it, but I don't know. I've never done that before, so
yeah, neither have I. I just don't like having that rotisserie chicken sitting in that refrigerator too long. You know what I'm saying?
How long have you had it?
I got it Saturday, and it's Wednesday.
I feel you're fine. I think like once you hit about like 5-6 days, that's when it starts to be like, all right, you need to either do something with this or get rid of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I'll have it for dinner tomorrow night. I'll just cut it to the bone tomorrow. What else you got?
What about the fact that maybe she's combating clickbait with clickbait?
I don't know who are they talking about? Pam Bondi?
I'm assuming.
I don't know what she's doing. In fact, let's go ahead and take a break because I forgot. We've got some audio. I thought we'd already played that because I screwed up the whole rundown and schedule today. I had Dr. Bloomberg scheduled for 5 o'clock. I don't know what's going on with me. I really don't know what's going on with me. I'm just not paying attention to details. You know what I mean? Because I was like, no, he's wrong. And I went to my phone and I looked at the schedule. It was like, it says it right there. Dr. Stephen Bloomberg, 4:30. I don't know what's going on with me. Went into the refrigerator looking for my water, knowing that I had bought water for Tuesday. Opened up the refrigerator and realized, oh, it's Wednesday. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We'll take a quick time out, though, and come right back. And when we do, you will hear from Pam Bondi going at it with the chairman of this congressional committee, Mr. Baskin, and going after Congressman Ross as well. It was a crap show, for lack of being able to say what I really want to say. It was humiliating and embarrassing. And I really thought Pam Bondi was going to be the star of this cabinet. But I throw her in there with Hegseth and Patel and who else? And Noam, the liar. They're just, national spotlight is the son of a gun. It's one thing to be the AG of Florida. It's another thing to be the nation's top cop. And she's just fumbling the ball all over the place. You'll hear Pam Bondi when we come back. Then at the bottom of the hour, Jared Kashida, local Bakersfield Country Club pro, shot a cool 65 today. He's one shot off the lead and getting closer to that $30,000 first place prize handed out on Friday. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM.
Big Mike. Coming up on the Thursday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, diving into all of the latest with the Trump economy. Some good numbers yesterday, but now is when we look at the policies for the months ahead, going into the midterms. How are we going to bring down prices? How is he going to keep those job numbers looking fantastic? Plus, education. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon will be with us. Oh yes, coming up, Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I know it's just February, but graduation season is right around the corner. And if you want a catered event for your young 18-year-old headed into college, I've got one caterer for you, and it's my good friend Mike Arier and Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue. Call Mike today at 393-5507. 393-5507. When you call Mike and hire Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue, you get the former football player. He played in the NFL for about 5 years with the Green Bay Packers and the New York Giants, and he's used that NFL discipline to hone one of the best catering businesses in Kern County. For 25 years now, Mike gets his crew, his rig, they do the cleaning, they do the serving, and of course, Mike does the cooking, and I'm telling you, his food is outstanding. He's lived by word of mouth thus far, but now I'm his mouthpiece, and I'm telling you, you need to hire Mike Arier and Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue for whatever event it is, graduation, a corporate event, a birthday, whatever. Call him today at 393-5507. That's 393-5507. Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue, and tell him Ralph Bailey told you all about it.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Guess I must be dumb. She had a pocket full of horses, Trojan and some of them used. But it was Saturday night, I guess that makes it alright. You see, what have I got to lose? Money, I said, baby, call me. Baby, it's too fast.
Before we get to the audio, I'll let the New York Times, I'll divorce myself of any description of what went on today in the House Judiciary Committee. So I will just read Glenn Thrush's lead from the New York Times. Attorney General Pam Bondi refused to apologize to survivors of the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who were seated in the House Judiciary Committee room on Wednesday, and instead demanded the Democrats apologize to President Trump. Ms. Bondi, imitating Mr. Trump's tactic of going on the attack when facing tough questions, offered few detailed answers, no admissions of fault by many expressions of fealty and admiration for a president who has exercised direct control over her department's actions. The bitter back and forth during a 4-hour hearing before lawmakers demonstrated the extent to which the Epstein files, once relegated to the conspiratorial outskirts of American politics, have become a defining issue for Ms. Bondi. The topic at times overshadowed her role in subordinating her department into an extension of Mr. Trump's will and retribution agenda. It was amazing. It was painful to watch. In fact, I would just turn off when a Democrat would come up. I would listen when the Republican would come up, but after about 2 or 3 Democrats, I just said, I'm not going to do this any longer. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear the vitriol. I don't want to hear her disrespecting these people. I don't like the Democrats, but they're Congress members. They're members of Congress. They are due a certain amount of respect. Here's just one. This is the chairman, Jamie Raskin, going at it with the Attorney General.
How much should these people get for a far worse violation of their privacy rights and a far greater danger established to them in their lives?
Do you even know who Chase Mulligan is? You're so obsessed with, you don't, do you?
I'm going to teach you the rules again. You're the Attorney General of the United States. We have rules here.
You're obsessed with him.
You're the Attorney General of the United States.
You're obsessed with Donald Trump. You have Trump derangement syndrome.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like my time
Mulligan will be
restored. I'd like
sentenced
my time
next week
restored.
in your district. In your district, and you don't even know about it, about keeping children safe from online predators.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Maryland. Gentleman can proceed.
Yeah, and I want the whole country to look at this. Because this is the Attorney General of the United States, whose job is law enforcement. We've never had a witness who has misunderstood our rules and been unable to conform his or her conduct to our rules before. We have only 5 minutes. And so we use our time to ask you specific questions.
How long are you giving me to
Excuse me, I'm not yielding to you right now. I'd like that second restored too. So, Ms. Bondi, the way it works is we ask you a question and you answer it. And if you go off on a wild goose chase, another tangent, you start reading statistics or you start talking about stuff going on in our district. And by the way, I invite you to my district. Come to my district, but that's not what we're here to do today. Okay? So, and you do that, then we're allowed to say we reclaim our time. At that point, you have to be quiet. You have no choice. You have to be quiet. So I hope you understand the rule at this point.
She doesn't. It's unprecedented. And again, if this were over some issue, I would normally take the Republican side. I would normally take Ms. Bondi's side, as incompetent as I think she is. But let's keep our eyes on the prize. Let's remember what this is all about. This is about those 12 now women that were standing behind Ms. Bondi, who are survivors of human trafficking by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And what Mr. Patel, the head of the FBI, and this broad, and the Attorney General are saying is, we've looked into this, and they're the only 2 culprits we found. Hundreds of victims that went to that island. And Mr. Patel and Ms. Bondi can come up with 2 culprits. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not exclusive to the Trump administration. This falls on Joe Biden and Merrick Garland. This falls on Barack Obama and Eric Holder.
This falls on George Bush, and I can't remember who George Bush's attorney general was, but it falls on all 4 of those administrations. And it falls on the state of Florida, who gave Jeffrey Epstein a sweetheart deal in the early part of the 21st century. But this is a major, major problem. I've stayed away from this because it's so convoluted. And what does it mean if you were on the island? For example, the president's Commerce Secretary, Howard, what is his name? Howard Lutnick. So he comes out and he says, yeah, I knew the guy, but I never had any dealings with him at all. At all. I knew from the get-go he was a creep. All right? Then Epstein is convicted as a sexual offender, I believe in 2008. Lutnick, who has said publicly he's never met Jeffrey Epstein, we later find out through these millions of documents that have now been dropped that Howard Lutnick not only knew Jeffrey Epstein, but he went to the island. Why are you lying? And what are we to make of this? That's why I've kind of left it alone. Because I'd love to go after the guy and say, well, obviously, you did something you ain't proud of, but come to find out, he went with his wife and his kids. Like, who takes their children? Because remember, at this point, in 2012, Epstein is a convicted, registered sex offender. You want me to localize that for you? That's like 2 years from now, the Bakersfield Californian breaks a story. Ralph Bailey and Zach Scrivener go to Glendale to Dodger spring training. I'd have 7 listeners once that story got out. Why in the world is Ralph Bailey, and Scrivener's not even a convicted sex offender. But if anybody in this community is caught up hanging out with Zach Scrivener, their political or communications or if they have a public job, done. And this guy's the Secretary of Commerce, and he's on record of lying about A, knowing Epstein, and B, fraternizing with him after he's a registered sex offender? But what do you make of that? It ain't criminal. It's weird as all get out, I'll tell you that. Because I ain't hanging out with Scrivener ever. And he's not even a registered sex offender, even though we all know he is. Sorry, that's my opinion. Disagree with me if you want, but I'm assuming 96% of you agree with me. But yet, the Secretary of Commerce hangs out with the most notorious sex offender, perhaps in American history, and he's still in the cabinet. Here's more between Raskin and the top cop of the United States.
Will you create a joint task force of the Department of Justice and governors and state attorney generals and district attorneys across the country to investigate the crimes that have taken place against these victims and more than 1,000 like them? The DOJ is not doing its job. Will you create a task force with state and local law enforcement to make that happen?
They can respond if she wants to.
Thank you, Chairman. He called Chase Mulligan a wild goose chase and didn't even know who he was. He is a defendant in your own district who preyed on girls.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, you know what? If he were part of the Epstein investigation, you wouldn't do anything about it.
Online chat rooms and committed sextortion. Yet he didn't even know in your tiny little district who he
Chairman,
was.
she's embarrassing you.
About to be
This is your committee, and she is embarrassing
Shame
you.
on you.
She is. She's embarrassing the chairman, Jim, what's his name, from Ohio, the wrestler. It's not Jim Jones. What's his name? Jim, I can't remember. But she's embarrassing the party. She's embarrassing the administration. The only problem is she's embarrassing Jim Jordan, thank you, from Ohio. He's the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. Was almost the speaker at one point. But anyway, the problem is the President of the United States loves this. That's the problem. It lacks decorum. She's setting precedent that we've never seen before. by not answering questions and personally attacking each and every member of the committee on the Democratic side. And all the while this is all going on, there are 12 women in the back of that room watching her perform like this. They asked her at some point, will you stand up and apologize to these women? She wouldn't do it. As I stated at the top of the show. And again, it's hard to side with the Democrats on this because Raskin's indignation is in some degree politically driven. Because, you know, it's the old story. It's 12-0 in the first inning with the bases loaded. And here comes the coach and the pitcher says, where have you been? You know what I'm saying? It's 11-0 with the bases loaded and nobody out. Where you been, coach? Well, you got to say that to Raskin. You're all screaming and yelling. Where you been? Where you been, Chairman? This ain't new. Epstein ain't new. Where you been? Where's all this righteous indignation during 20 to 24 during the Biden administration? Where was all this horrible anger and hair on fire during Eric Holder and the Barack Obama administration? Where you been, coach? So it's hard to bag on Bondi, but her behavior is just equally as bad. Just answer the questions. Just admit that you're wrong. And remember, let us all remember that it was Bondi that really lit the ignition on this thing with that famous cliche. Say it with me. The file is on my desk. And literally, 24 hours later, they said, we're not releasing anything. There's no file. If it weren't for loyalty, any president would have already fired this woman. But she does what the president says. She goes after the president's enemies, so he loves her.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KER.
Go ahead, do your promo now. You want to wait? Go ahead, do your promo now. You want to wait?
You want to do it now?
Well, because we got Messmaker at 5:45. That's why I asked.
Okay.
I'll do it while I'm hot. 3, 2. It's hard to find myself on the Democratic. 3, 2. It's hard to find myself on the Democratic capital D side because where was all this righteous indignation during the Biden administration over Epstein and during the Obama administration? But Pam Bondi is an absolute embarrassment. She set a precedent in the Judiciary Committee hearings today by simply not answering any questions and just simply going on the attack at every member of the Democratic side. She is an embarrassment because this isn't about Democrats or Republicans. This is about young women who were ruined as young children by Jeffrey Epstein and his cohorts. God, that was awful. I might do that again at the end of the show. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Thursday TRBS. Well, it's a Thursday. Mike Turnipseed, Daniel Petrie will be here. And day 2 of the BC Open, we'll have one of the local players on as Jared Kaneshita is vying for that $30,000 prize. All that and me at 3. It's TRBS. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You know what? I'll probably end up doing both those again at the end of the show. Because I'm going to say Jared, I got to say Bavik and Monif too. Because they're right there. They could win. How much time I got?
We got about. I can give you 2 minutes.
Let me do it again.
3, you ready?
Yeah,
3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Thursday TRBS. Well, it's a Thursday. Mike Turnipseed, Daniel Petrie, and day 2 of the Bakersfield Open, where a couple of local boys are vying for that $30,000 prize. Jared Kaneshita, Manav Shah, and Bavik Patel, all up on the leaderboards. All of that plus me at 3. It's TRBS, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. I'll see you at 3. Much better. Much better.
You want to do the other one too, or just that one?
I got time?
Yeah, you got time.
All right. 3, 2. You know, it's hard to be on the side of the Democrats on this because where was all this righteous indignation during the Biden administration over Epstein or during the Obama administration? But Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, is an absolute embarrassment. She set precedents in the House Judiciary Committee by simply not answering any questions and simply attacking each member of the Democrats, while there were 12 members who are survivors whose lives have been ruined. And she and Patel are telling us that Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein are the only culprits. Are you kidding me? Much better, much better.
And the money you paid, it goes right into the hands of criminals. Remember, if you don't know where the products came from, how could you know where the money goes? You're smart. Buy smart. Go for real. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org. This message is brought to you by the United States Patent and Trademark Office and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Thursday's Armstrong and Getty Show. The social media trial drags on. The defense from Google and Facebook. Super interesting. We'll have the latest.
And obesity rates among kids have quadrupled. Who's at fault?
Text it to me.
The news of the day as well. That's what we do around here on the next Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox. News.
And the music indicates that Jared Kenishita is on the phone. BCC Pro and overall good egg and one shot off the lead. Jared, what's really going on, my brother? Congratulations.
Thank you, Ralph. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm excited for you, Pop. I really am, man. Talk about your round.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It was an interesting one today. Score was good. I didn't play my best today. I didn't hit it that great, but I got the most I could out of my round. So, nothing to be too upset about. Just kind of looking forward to getting back at it tomorrow.
I was going to say that's great news if you weren't hitting that well, because if you can do that at 6 under, imagine what you can do tomorrow and Friday. What's the course playing like? Got a little rain last night that had to slow up the green just a little bit, huh?
Yeah, so the greens are super firm the last couple of days, and they were firm today. Not quite as firm, but
right.
And then the speed, they're not slow, but I'll tell you what, if Brian Rios, our superintendent, does something special, they could be dangerously fast by Friday comes.
Yeah, that's what I figured. What, he's going to double roll them tonight and probably in the morning as well?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to double cut and roll to tomorrow and Friday, so they could get pretty nasty out there, especially if because we got a little gusty out there this afternoon. So if it gets a little gusty with how quick they are, there could be some carnage out there.
Yeah. Tell us about your round. You had one bogey on the front. You went birdie to start. That had to put some wind in your sails.
Yeah, pretty ideal way to start the round, get nice and settled in, and then, like I said, since I didn't hit it very well, then I had to scramble my butt off. And it's funny because the bogey on 4, that was probably the most straightforward up and down to save par I had all day, and it was the only one I didn't convert. So kind of a head scratcher, but at least, I got that one out of the way early and was able to, keep my head down and keep plugging away the last few holes.
Yeah. You talking about 4?
Yeah, 4. So that was my...
your lone bogey on the front?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, that's a tough green. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to our listeners because you got to hit that on the right side. Where was the pin? Was it a red pin?
No, it was pretty much dead center of the green, but there's that kind of bisecting ridge from left to right, and the pin was maybe 3 paces past that ridge. So it was kind of an awkward chip, but I made it look very difficult, and it was fairly straightforward.
Yeah. And you, like your fellow BCC pro up there, Bhavik Patel, caught on fire. Bhavik had an up and down round on the front as well, but had a bogey-free round on the back, as did you, birdieing 10, 12, and 16 and 17. What happened on the back?
Back nine, I was able to keep the ball in play a little more, and to be honest with you, I was just leaving myself pretty straightforward birdie looks to where I didn't have to, look for any break that wasn't there or anything too special, to where it was pretty simple to figure out the read and hit the putt on the line I was trying to.
Yeah. Talking with Jared Kaneshita, is the BCC pro and the local leader. He's at 6 under par, following Carlos Pereira, who's at 7 in the lead. Cut is tomorrow, and then they'll vie for the $30,000 on Friday. There have been some changes. We've been talking about this all week and a little bit last week. Changes to the golf course, lengthening it a little bit. Talk about that and how different you played those holes.
To be honest with you, Ralph, we didn't use any of those new tee boxes today.
Oh, is that right?
I'm not sure if we're going to be able to this week, because they created the tee boxes with dirt.
Right.
And they put new sod on it, and I don't think it was enough time, because the fog and everything, to where it never dried out, to where they can get a mower on it, and all that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, I don't think we're going to use it this week, but it would have really changed the golf course if we did.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Next year could be very interesting.
Yeah, it absolutely will. With the rain last night, did you guys still ride today?
We still did carts.
Yeah.
They did make the decision to do lift, clean, and place in the fairway length grass.
Nice.
So that was fortunate. That made everyone's lives a little easier
Yeah.
on the fairway. But the golf course took the rain super well. It didn't make it too soggy or too soft. So it still showed its teeth when it wanted to.
Yeah. What do you think of? This is just a golf thing. This has nothing to do with you or the tournament. But I just think that the idea, because they just changed some rules as we head into the new PGA Tour year, and the rule that they refuse to change is hitting out of a divot. As a pro, what are your thoughts? I just think that's idiotic. Aren't you supposed to be rewarded for hitting the short grass? And then you hit a drive right down the middle and you're in a sand hole. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I could not agree more with you. If you hit a good golf shot in the fairway, you should be rewarded by playing out of the fairway and not playing out of a divot created by someone else.
Doesn't make any sense. And they just absolutely refuse to change that. I don't get it. I really don't. Go ahead.
There's some things they don't budge on, and there's some things they're willing to change. But hey, I don't make the rules. I wish I did. So hey, like I said, we don't have to hit out of a divot. But
yeah, exactly. Tell us about Jared Kaneshita. You're a local kid. I said Highland, but is that right?
No, so I was born and raised here. Graduated Stockdale High School in 2015, and went away to play some college golf in Hawaii. Came right back, and have been here ever since.
Yeah, good for you. What's your approach now? I called earlier, and you were hitting balls right after your round. What's your approach going into tomorrow?
Just trying to clean up a couple things. Find the fairway off the tee first and foremost, and then kind of plugging away, picking my spots when I can, when I get a good number, that kind of thing. Like, let's say there's a pin tucked on side of a green over a bunker, and I don't quite have a good yardage for it. Maybe I'll just play a little safer, but just picking my spots and trying to roll into putts I need to, and get some good rest and hydrate for tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know your tee time? And how do they do it with the second round? Are you paired up with who you played with today, or do they do it by scores and you'll go out with the leader?
So they keep the pairings the same. What they do is there's a morning wave and an afternoon wave, and the only difference is they just flip it. So since I went at 8:30 this morning, I'll be going tomorrow at 12:50, I believe.
Okay. With the same partner.
Same players. Yep. Same players.
And then at the end of the day, 35% of the field will be cut. Any guess on where that cut line will be, given that you and the leader are at 7 and 6?
I didn't look to see what it would be now. I don't think they have that on their website. I think if I had to guess, for example, if they cut it at 35% right now, it's probably at that 1 or 2 under mark.
Ooh.
So give or take 2, probably 3 or 4 under tomorrow would be the cut.
Yeah. Wow. And what do you think you have to shoot tomorrow to stay in it and stay competitive? You think you got to stay in the 60s?
Yeah, I'll probably have to shoot the same score tomorrow to have a chance. Have a chance because there was all the low rounds it seemed like came from this morning because, like I said, the wind popped up. So it kind of just depends. If we get a windy afternoon tomorrow, well, I probably will have to shoot the same score. If it's not windy tomorrow afternoon at all, I might have to go even lower than what I shot today to try and stay up in the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah. You'd rather play in the morning, obviously.
Always.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Friday, they'll pair you up by scores with the leaders, and you'll go out in the morning.
Exactly. I don't know what time tee time start on Friday, but they will repair based on results of everyone who made the cut to where the leaders will go out last.
Yeah. And that's another disadvantage to you, but you'd rather be in that last group, boy. I know that.
In that place, yeah. In that situation, going out last, knowing what everyone else is doing is a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, good luck, man. I'm really proud of you. I'm really happy for you. I really, really am. And it's good to see Manav in contention and Bavik and even Neil Batista's even. You know, he throws up a low round tomorrow. He's right back in it.
Rolls in a few putts, he'll be just fine. I bet he'll make Friday.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Again, congratulations. Good luck tomorrow. Thanks for coming on the program.
Hey, thank you so much. Hope to see you out there this week.
Absolutely. I'll be out there tomorrow. Absolutely. All right, buddy. All right. Take care. Jared Kaneshita, really good kid. I knew it wasn't Highland. I don't even know why I said that. Stockdale kid. Great guy. Great guy. Love all those guys. Really, really good kids. When I say kids, they're in their late 20s, some in their early 30s. But it's just good to see. You know, I think we all want a local kid to win this thing. And again, I apologize referring to these grown men as kids, but at my age, they all are children. They really are. Really excited for them. Really am. We'll take our final timeout of the night and wrap this thing up. Tomorrow, Mike Turnipseed, Daniel Petrie, and I wouldn't be shocked if we have a member of the Asher Tour on tomorrow, either one of the leaders or our good friend Paul Guerra, who's out there with his dad. I'm sure he had the time of his life, not the round of his life, not a round he's going to be very happy with, but I'm sure he had a ball. He was a late scratch for Chris Riley, who withdrew at the 11th hour, and Paul, who's really responsible for getting this BC Open up on its feet and getting the type of purse that they have, $150,000 and $30,000 to the winner. He was a late entry. He shot at 81, but again, he's out there playing with his dad, having the time of his life. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's TRBS. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
The city council, the folks inept and all that run our city don't even make $3,000 a month. But you mean to tell me a board of 5 that oversees 26,000 kids that meets once a month, and again, you can call in and tell me they meet more than just once a month, JR. You know, they go out to schools and they meet with teachers and they discuss other things at other times with different $3,000 a month. I'm pulling papers tomorrow.
Weekdays at 2 p.m.
Hope you're with us tomorrow at 4:30, particularly when Daniel Petrie joins us, as he does each and every week. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors, all about retirement. And you've heard some of the testimonials from some of his clients that we've turned on to, namely Chris Orr, our traffic director and associate producer, Lisa. Her husband's extremely happy as he's entered retirement and has become a client of Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors as well. You should, if retirement is in your near future. Call Daniel today at 395-9400, 395-9400. His office is located right on the corner of 21st and Oak, and he joins us every Thursday tomorrow at 4:30. You can ask questions. He walks us through the deficit, how silver and gold are doing, and how DC and what they're doing impacts you. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only, does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future, option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Inc., DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-783-8055. That's 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
The Crossroads of the West Gun Show is coming this weekend to the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield.
We're finding everything we're looking for, so we're impressed.
Awesome selection. Awesome, yeah, just a lot more than I expected to see.
It's America's premier gun show with great deals on guns, ammo, scopes, accessories, and more. Sold at wholesale prices, plus jewelry, gift ideas, and door prizes.
We'll scour through, find the best bargain, come back and buy it.
Crossroads of the West Gun Show this weekend at the Kern County Fairgrounds in Bakersfield. All sales are indebted. You can buy, sell, and trade at all Crossroads gun shows. I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
What a wonderful world. Little Satchmo as we go out on this Wednesday evening. I'll give you one final look at the leaderboard because now all of the players, let me just double check because it's damn near dark, so obviously they're not out there, but just let me double check just to make sure so I don't make an error. One player either withdrew because they only got 13 holes in. That's weird. He probably withdrew. Kid from San Jose was 4 over at the time. But the leader is a gentleman by the name of Carlos Pereira. He is from Cameron Park. Any idea where that is, Chris? Cameron Park?
It's in California. I'm just not sure where.
Well, I know it's in California.
Well, and then you got to specify.
Well, it's a big. That's why I'm asking you.
No, I have
It's
no
a big
idea where
state.
in California it is.
Jared Kaneshiro, we just spoke with, is in second place, along with a young man by the name of Josh Anderson from Scottsdale, Arizona, where they just played the waste management tournament. And the Patrick Flavin, the defending champion from Highland, Illinois, is at 5 under par. He's just 2 strokes off the lead. And then you've got to get down to Manav Shah, local boy, who shot a 67. He made 5 birdies on the first 7 holes, birdieing 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7, bogeyed 8 and birdied 9, shot a 31 on the front, but then double bogeyed 12, which is he's thinking about right now, because that's one of the easiest holes on the course. I was just talking to Randy, and I said, you know what? There are just some holes that some guys love, and I cannot miss that green. I don't know why. Remember, Chris, I told you the story on that 2 weeks ago? I put it, there's a creek that runs along the 12th hole, and I put it in the creek and still made 5. I put it in the creek, so I'm hitting 3 from by the creek, and I had to go over a tree because the creek is, you don't want to be on that side of the golf course. And I hit a 6-iron from about 155 yards, which used to be a 7-iron, an easy 7-iron. Now I'm busting a 6-iron from 155.
and two putted for bogey. It's one of the easiest holes on the golf course, and I know he's kicking himself for making bogey there.
Cameron Park is near Sac, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
okay.
in Sacramento.
Okay. But because he must have put it in the water. There's water right on that. Like I said, there's the creek, and there's water off of the green as well. So either he put it in the water on his drive, or maybe his second shot he put it in that water. But he birdied 16. He was one over on the back, so he's 4 under. And Bhavik Patel, who had a rocky front 9, as we chronicled earlier, he started out bogey birdie, par 3 and 4, then went bogey birdie again on 6 and 7, then he went bogey birdie on 5 and 6, birdied the par 5, then went birdie bogey on 7 and 8, and then birdied 9. So he had 4 birdies on the front, but 3 bogeys, 1 under on the front, and then had a immaculate back 9, no bogeys, 3 birdies, birdied 10, 15, and 16 for a 32. So he's right in contention, just 3 shots off the lead. And someone that everybody thought was going to play extremely well, Adam Duncan, who's coming off a recent 62. He shot 2 under on the front with no bogeys and 1 under on the back. He did not commit a bogey on the day. In fact, as far as I can see, he's one of the few players that did that, had a bogey-free round, but just 3 birdies on the day. But he's right where he'd like to be. And Devin Bling from Ridgecrest is at 3 under. He had a crazy round. He had 4 birdies on the front and a bogey on 4 for a 33 on the front, and 2 birdies and 2 bogeys on the back. He is in contention. And like I said, John Ballfance is 3 under. He started birdie, bogeyed 4, went birdie, bogey on 6 and 7, then bogeyed 9. He's thinking about that as he's eating his dinner, because 9 is a very short, easy par 4. And then they're all killing the back 9. John didn't have a bogey on the back, but he birdied 12, 14, and 15. And he is right in contention. So it's going to be a heated couple of days. And as Jared told us, they're going to double cut the greens and double roll them. And it's going to get slick. Despite the rain last night, they're going to be slick. They'll be a little faster tomorrow, and they'll be lightning by Friday. I can guarantee you, because the rain ain't coming till next week. And again, good luck to all of our local players. And while we're talking about golf, don't forget, we're just about 5 weeks away from honoring our veterans with the 4th annual Honor Flight Open. It's amazing already that we're on our 4th successful year raising money once again for our veterans. And I heard some people, Flacco in the chat room saying he's going to play. And again, remember, you're playing golf and putting money in the pockets of our veterans so that we can send them back to Washington, D.C. and be honored and feted at their respective memorials. There's a fabulous dinner where all the veterans have their bios read. They're given a flag now. It used to be Kevin McCarthy, but now it's Valadeo and Fong who present each Honor Flight member a Capitol flag, a flag that actually flew at the Capitol. And they get standing ovations in the airport everywhere they go. And there's a special ceremony on the plane right where around Arizona, about 40 minutes outside of Baco. And then you all fill the airport and welcome them home, and they're just taken aback. It really is something to see. And again, I hope you'll come out and play in our golf tournament. It is March the 23rd out at Bakersfield Country Club. And again, the proceeds go to benefit our veterans. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Let's read a couple of text messages, and I'm eating sushi.
What about the fact that maybe
let's talk about my favorite topic. I went sushi. I'm just not feeling tuna fish.
Well, it's a Tuesday. No, I'm sorry, it's a Wednesday, so you're good.
Yeah, so I call bentos. Little yellowtail and some salmon. That's fine. I gotta eat more fish. I'm gonna get back to that's how I lost the weight when the blood pressure went crazy. I was eating bentos 2-3 nights a week. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Japanese do not have heart disease. Just saying. Well, what do you got?
What about the? Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. We read this one already. Natalie, did she try to use flowers for the camera? Do you see how his gun was on his waistband?
Yeah, it was in his front, and some of the experts, some of the pundits pointed that out. This guy, and they also pointed out the fact that it was a revolver holster for a semi-automatic weapon, which is extremely weird. Apparently, I don't know anything about guns, to be honest with you, but yeah, they did note that. And one of the experts' speculation was that they wore that like that to intimidate Nancy Guthrie. Because imagine, you're 84 years old. It's like my mom laying in bed and waking up tonight with some 6-foot man hanging over her with a gun in the middle of his belt. You know what I'm saying? And a ski mask. I mean, she could have had a heart attack and died right then. But I just don't think this ends well. I just don't. In fact, I'll even go further at this point. I don't think she's alive. I really don't. I pray, honest to God, I pray that I'm wrong, but I don't think she's alive.
No, because you would have sent proof of life.
Yeah.
You would have sent something.
Her voice. They had her on the phone, something. This whole thing is screwy. I don't think any of the 3 letters may even be connected. This guy's asking for 1 Bitcoin, which is worth $56,000, when the damn reward is worth $50,000. Just come up and rat him out if you really know. Take what's $6,000? Take the $50,000 and run. I think it's all a scam. All these letters to the family, I think it's all scams. I really do. I think it may have been a robbery gone wrong, and they had a dead body on their hands, and they had to make it look like a kidnapping so they could bury her and make their getaway. I don't know, but I don't think it ends well. Want to thank Jared Keneshita for joining us, along with the Chancellor of Bakersfield College, Dr. Stephen Bloomberg, and of course, our Wednesday regular, Howard Marcus. Tomorrow, Mike Turnipseed, Daniel Petrie. In the meantime, for Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. I will rap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. There's a new NATO effort underway in the Arctic.
NATO has launched a new military effort dubbed Arctic Sentry, aimed at improving security in the high north. The effort comes a month after President Trump ramped up tensions in the alliance with his threats to annex Greenland. Initially, Arctic Sentry will be the NATO label for national military exercises in the region, such as Denmark's Arctic Endurance and Norway's. NATO's role in this series of military activities, which will be coordinated through its US headquarters in Virginia, is aimed at countering Russian and Chinese influence in the high north, which includes Greenland. I'm Karen Shamas.
Attorney General Pam Bondi clashed with lawmakers during an explosive congressional hearing. Correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not